After starting the season 0-3, the Hawks of St. Joe's Prep are back for another Saturday at Franklin Field as they take on the 3-0 Falcons of Our Lady of Good Counsel from Maryland. This is Hawks Kickoff on WSJP. Good afternoon and welcome to historic Franklin Field on the campus of Penn as we get you set for kickoff between the Prep and Good Counsel this afternoon. I'm Anthony Sorgi alongside AJ Farrington on what is a beautiful September Saturday afternoon for football here in the shadows of Center City. AJ, we are just under an hour, 56 minutes away now from kickoff here in University City. How excited are you for this one?
Yeah, Anthony, I'm real excited for this one. I mean, I think this is a great opportunity for the Hawks to bounce back. It's been a couple unfortunate results in our last couple games, balls bouncing the wrong way. But I think this is, it's a beautiful day outside. Like you mentioned, we are in my favorite part of the city, actually.
Absolutely.
University City, I would definitely say that's my favorite spot. And great weather outside, and I think it's going to be a real good football game.
No doubt. Let's get right into it, AJ. The Prep, a rough 0-2 start to the season, but I think you'd agree they looked much improved against St. Francis a week ago today. They fell 34-26 in a close one to the number 4 team in the nation. What did you see last week from a Hawks team that has seemed to find their groove?
Yeah, absolutely. I think previous listeners are going to find me to be a little bit of a broken record here, but this football team has the ability to be the best football team in the country, and I think we've seen it in spurts. If we look at the fourth quarter against St. Francis, we look at the first half against American Heritage, we know how good this team is. I think everyone knows how good this team is and how good they are able to play. That was a St. Francis team that a lot of people really wrote the Prep off in that game, especially after the collapse, if you would, against Amatha. People expected it to be not necessarily a bloodbath, but not as close as it was, and I think it was a fantastic job from the Prep to play that game really well. Jed Harrison we'll probably get into him later, I'd imagine, but a fantastic individual game from him. A great job from the offensive line, really. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I want to give a special shout-out to Sean Molly. Did a fantastic job on that corner, just keeping his guy protected. And even though it was a loss, I think it was a respectable loss. You can lose, you can get beat down, you can give up, or you can lose and you can continue to fight and really show what you're made of. And I think the Prep really did that this last week. And I think they just showed everyone that, look, we're 0-3, but we're 0-3 against the best teams here, and we're a good 0-3. Best 0-3 team in the nation, absolutely. I don't have that stat, but I'm just going to say it right now.
I mean, there's no doubt they're in the conversation there. Let's take it to the other side of the field. The Falcons coming into this one looking for their big first national win of the season. What are you looking for from Good Counsel today?
I think it's just going to be an overall – I think it's going to be a little bit of a dogfight. These are both very good teams, and like you mentioned, first national win. If you're Good Counsel, this is a prove-it game against a St. Joe's Prep team that – in terms of just the record, floundering a little bit. Now, I don't think that's the case overall, but if you're coming into this game for Good Counsel, I think you look at this as an opportunity to really prove that you are one of those teams and that you are here to stay for the entire season.
No doubt, AJ. And AJ, you will be back with me in just a bit here on Hawks Kickoff, but now it's time for our feature of the day. As we come back to talking about this Prep team you'll be watching at the top of the hour, there was no doubt on who the player of the game was last Saturday. A sophomore stood out among the future college stars on the field. His name, Jet Harrison. Heading into last season, all eyes were on freshman Jet Harrison to follow in the footsteps of brother Marvin Jr. as the wide receiver took the field for the first time in a Hawks uniform. And Jet did not disappoint, finishing the year as a freshman All-American and a state champion. After picking up offers from the likes of Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon, and receiving a 5-star rating over the offseason, the pressure was on Jet heading into his sophomore year. After a slow start against American Heritage in the first game, Harrison scored 2 touchdowns against Amatha. Then, last weekend, against St. Francis, the top 10 player in his class made national headlines with an insane performance. And let's get right into it here. The Hawks started the game down 7-0 after a 3-and-out and a Panthers touchdown early. Then the 5-star got the scoring started.
Handoff, he goes across the middle. Jet Harrison, he makes a catch through contact. He's going 30, 20, 10, breaks the tackle off the
into the second half. Now, as we near next, let's go to the second quarter with the Hawks down 21-7. Heading into the half, the Prep looking for a score, and Harrison, yet again, delivered.
And goes in motion. Phillips in the backfield. Falk steps up under pressure. Zion Ely, he evades, and Sean Molly gets him out the way. Falk, back corner in the end zone. Harrison on the right side.
Into the second half now. As we near the fourth quarter, it was Jet time again. To put it simply, there was no stopping Harrison last weekend.
Otney out wide to the left. Harrison, slight motion. Falk targets him, back corner. Jet Harrison for the third time today. Oh!
Finally, we hit the fourth quarter. The Hawks were still down, but Jet wasn't done yet.
Falk, ready. Looking to his left. He uncorks. Looking for Harrison. Double coverage. Pulls it down. Fourth touchdown of the game. Who else? Who else?
And as Dom Schultz said there, who else? Let's go late in the game now. The Prep down 34-26. Falk goes to Harrison for the highlight of the night.
Falk looks to Harrison yet again. Back shoulder. One hand grab. Falk looks to Harrison yet again. Back shoulder. One hand grab.
That highlight's so great, you had to see it twice. The one-handed catch making national headlines all over social media. Harrison's final stat line on Saturday, 6 catches for 179 yards and 4 touchdowns. Those videos courtesy of Max Preps and Overtime. That was this week's player feature story. Now, let's take a trip around the PCL. Folks, we are in the midst of an action-packed weekend around the Catholic League with 11 teams playing. LaSalle and Roman both on the bye, but here's what happened thus far around the Valley in the PCL. Yesterday afternoon, 2 of Delaware County's best squared off as Bonner Prendy took on the Haverford School in a highly anticipated PCL versus Interact matchup. Haverford came out with the win, defending home field in a close 28-24 result. Now let's take it up to North Penn High School as Lansdale Catholic faced off against Newman Goretti last night. It was the Crusaders with a 21-0 shutout win against the Saints as Lansdale looks to make a surprise run for the Blue Division crown. We now head down to Springfield Township as the Spartans hosted the Prep's next opponent, Father Judge. The Crusaders of the Northeast had a slow start to the year, but after beating Archbishop Wood last weekend in a nail-biter, Judge picked up another win on Friday, beating Springfield 48-27. Now to the other Springfield and back in Delaware County, the Lions of Cardinal O'Hara hosted Smyrna, the number 5 team ranked in Delaware. The Lions defended home field, winning 35-14 in impressive fashion ahead of PCL Red Division play next weekend. Finally, it was West Catholic away last night as they faced Chichester in Delaware County. On the road, the Birds picked up a 28-6 dominating win ahead of their matchup next weekend against Lansdale Catholic. And now, folks, to today's game, Archbishop Carroll on the road at Archbishop Wood, that one in Warminster at William Tennant High School. Conwell Egan on the road against Archbishop Ryan at the Northeast Super Site. And how about next weekend's slate? Newman Goretti faces Archbishop Carroll. LaSalle on the road at Widener against Roman. Cardinal O'Hara visiting Bonner Prendy in a very, very, very big rivalry matchup. The Prep on the road at Father Judge. All of those on Friday night. And then look at Saturday's slate. It's West Catholic at Lansdale Catholic, Archbishop Wood at Conwell Egan, and Archbishop Ryan at Penn Charter. This has been Around the PCL. Now let's go inside Good Counsel with Ryan Sullivan. And now let's welcome on today's color commentator and WSJP co-president, Ryan Sullivan, as we go inside Good Counsel, breaking down the Prep's next opponent. Ryan, big game this afternoon for the Hawks against Good Counsel. How are you feeling heading into this one?
Sorgi, guess what time it is? It's soul-taking time, boy. It is that time again. St. Joseph's Prep football. I am so excited. I couldn't be more excited for this game. You almost took down St. Francis, the number 3 team in America. In my opinion, the number 1 defense in America. And then you got Good Counsel as well. We know what they bring to the table. They got talent all across the board, and we're going to get into it right now.
Yeah, let's talk about the Falcons here, Ryan. They come into this game 3-0 with 3 out-of-state wins, but the Prep is the first major national opponent of the season for Good Counsel. What have you seen thus far from the Falcons of only Maryland?
Well, I think right now they are a very solid team. I don't really know where they are. Do you put them in the upper echelon of teams in America? Probably not. But do you put them on the lower where you just count them out as an easy national win? No. So they're kind of just in that middle. And obviously, you just said it, St. Joe's Prep is probably their first big game. So you got to see how they perform here today, and then we'll know where to put them. But this is obvious. But because of that, you don't really know who to really pick or what the score is really going to be. So these are questions you have to ask. But I think right now they're a very solid team. They have to be taken very seriously.
No doubt. Let's go to Jackson Rice, the field general of this Good Counsel squad, holding 5 D1 offers, including offers from Syracuse and Wake Forest. Ryan, tell us about the Falcons QB.
I like Jackson Rice a lot. He has a couple offers, but he's not really ranked anywhere on any major websites. So you look at Jackson Rice at the current moment in time. This is somebody who has a lot of faith in his wide receivers. Now, can that come back to bite him? Yeah, probably, because there are sometimes where balls are underthrown, overthrown. St. Joe's Prep, they do a really good job of scouting that out and making sure that those passes are tipped or intercepted. So that's going to be interesting to see how he plays here today. But he does like to throw on the run a little bit. Sometimes they have to get him out of the pocket because of the fact that his release is not as quick as you would like it to be. He does do a really good job of reading linebackers and whether they are going to drop in coverage or rush him on the pass. The Prep, they typically like to drop their linebackers. They only really like to rush their front 4 unless something really changes. So we're going to have to see how he reads guys like Brandon Lockley and John Boggs here today. When he is under pressure, though, he can get rid of the football, and he knows really where to put the football in that case. He's very good under pressure.
Yeah, and let's go to 2 of Rice's weapons. They'll both be playing FBS ball at the next level. What should we know about Corey Smith Jr. and Rowan Walsh?
Well, right now, Corey Smith Jr., he's in that stage where he's a really good blocking wide receiver, but he's also coming into that stage where he's going to become a very good pass catcher, which is, obviously what receivers want to do. But blocking is definitely something really good. We know how good of a tackler Messiah Akery and Brandon Ross and Samaj Hill are. So that's going to be very crucial for them. He's not the best when it comes to his technique. He doesn't really get under the shoulder pads too well, but he is a very, very aggressive player. He can create separation somewhat. We do know that St. Joe's Prep defensive backs, they don't really like it when they get behind you. So I don't know if he's going to be able to create that much separation here today on the deep ball. But he has very good chemistry with Jackson Rice, and he can really go up and get the football. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, be ready to jump today.
Absolutely, Ryan. The offensive line, let's talk about this Falcons O-line. Jaden Lindsay holds an offer from Penn State. Karan Spencer playing next year in Tampa for South Florida. How will these linemen match up against the Prep today?
I actually totally forgot to talk about Rowan Walsh. I apologize, but I'll talk about him really quick. This is a guy with a very big frame. They like to use him in blocking. He comes off the line of scrimmage, so it's actually going to be very, very interesting to see how far Daryl Jacquez and Mason Talley move up on him. Or how many yards are they going to give him? Are they going to give him 7 to 10? Are they going to give him 10 yards? Like, we're going to have to see how they, how he's used in this game. He is on blocking wise, he's very good at making guys over pursue, and that's what you want to see because you don't want to get Jackson Rice under pressure, especially with these guys on St. Joe's Prep, so they tackle well. But anyway, getting into the offensive line, you're looking at Jaden Lindsay right now, a 3-star, the number 16 offensive lineman in the country, and the number 6 player in Maryland as we speak. He is very, very good at getting guys to go on an angle to over pursue, and also very, very good at getting his hands under the shoulder pads. He gets off the ball really quickly, gets out of his stance really quickly, and it's going to look like he's on a false start, but he's not going to false start. He knows the snap count very, very well, and he stays on his man the entire time. You don't typically see him, help on double teams. He normally is on the one-on-one, and then you have Karan Spencer, who plays both ways, but offensively, he does not let his opponents off. He is on them the entire time, and he goes really deep into those shoulder pads. And yeah, these guys are really, really good. But St. Joe's Prep, we know the talent on their side of the ball. Alex Haskell, Colton Anderson, Jason Nitz, Anthony Shuley. Shuley had a really good game last week, don't get me wrong. And a guy with really no, college offers in there had a really, really good game. And Alex Haskell, obviously, they might put some double teams on him. But the best part of Good Counsel's offensive line are the tackles. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they get through the line here today.
Yeah, let's go to that defense now. Sophomore Ashton Childs holding offers from Maryland, Syracuse, and Boston College. What impact does he make on this Good Counsel D?
It's interesting with this guy because sometimes he can move in between linebackers positions, between the Mike and the Will. So where do you really look at him on film? How do you game plan for him? That's what makes him so great because he can play multiple positions. Obviously, holds very high Division I offers. Boston College, Maryland, Syracuse, Toledo is definitely nothing to sneeze at. But he is very, very quick when he's the extra guy on the rush. I've noticed this year that he doesn't necessarily walk up when he's blitzing that much. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see how guys like Logan Darrisaw and Kion Billups and Amin Williams deal with him on blitz pickup. But he is a very, very aggressive tackler. He wraps up really well on the ball carrier, and he doesn't really play ring around the rosy. He just drives him into the ground and keeps moving his feet. And I think right now, if you're St. Joe's Prep, the way you have to game plan for him is you have to make sure somebody is in the A-gap on blitz pickup because the defensive tackles, they like to move guys out of the way, let him come in as the extra man on the rush as the Mike linebacker, and you got to get under his shoulder pads and make sure he does not get the Charlie Falk.
And Ryan, how about North Carolina commit Jackson Davis, the 3-star heading to play for Chapel Bill next season? But today, he's looking to help this Good Counsel line in stopping the Hawks offense.
Well, this is the number 27 player in the 2026 class in Maryland, Georgie, and we know how good Maryland's been in football right now. The number 24 defensive tackle in the country, obviously a 3-star provided by 24/7 Sports. He's not the fastest out of his stance, but he can just boom stick any offensive lineman, so that's the problem. He does a really good job of knocking down the arms of a guard and just then obviously moving him out of the way from their shoulder pads. He doesn't really get into the backfield when it comes to stopping the run. He just stops you at the line of scrimmage, something similar to what we saw last week with St. Francis. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, you're going to have to make sure that your H-back or Jake Nama, who's played really well over the course of the season, gets him out of the way, gets him out of the A-gap. Overall, he's a very big tackle, but the competition he's faced, in my opinion, is very, very questionable.
Finally, to the man of the hour for the Falcons. He has 20 Power 4 offers, including offers from the likes of Alabama, Georgia, and Penn State. The number 4 defensive end in the class of 2027 will try to cause chaos today. What should we look for from Anthony Sweeney?
Anthony Sweeney, there's debate on whether he should be a 4 or 5-star. I have him as a 4-star at the current moment in time, but he's the number 1 player in Maryland in the class, of 2027, the number 4 defensive player in the country, or defensive end in the country, and the number 13 player in the class of 2027. I would say, if you want to make a comparison, and you watched the game last week, he's very similar to Zion Ely. He's a speed rusher, but he also has a lot of power off the edge. Very fast out of his stance, and he gets guys off balance a lot. So you got to really get out of your stance if you're an offensive lineman. If you're not out of your stance quickly, you're off balance immediately. He's going to knock you right out of the way. Has a very great rip through, but he uses it as a last resort. That's the thing, because he doesn't use his power a lot. He's very great with his speed. He gets off a block really easily when it comes to the run. He has a nice swim move inside. He develops a lot of plays. Does a good job of reading the play before it even develops. Say like a run. St. Joe's Prep obviously uses their H-back a lot when they run. Hopefully, if you're St. Joe's Prep, he doesn't really get in the backfield, swims through in the inside when you're trying to run it up the A-gap. We could possibly see that. And when you're going to his side, he stays on his block, but then all of a sudden he jumps right off the offensive tackle, and then he's able to make the play in the backfield. So if you are somebody like Dave Contreras or Sean Motley, you got to make sure that you are just on him 100% of the time until you know that Kion, Amin, or Logan Darrisaw is when they're past you. I apologize, I messed that up there. But Anthony Sweeney deserves all the hype in the world. One of the best players in the country as we speak, not even just class-wise.
No doubt, Ryan. You have taken us inside this Good Counsel squad, but before you go, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to go 27-17 Hawks as of now.
Okay.
That might have been a bit different from what I had on the PCL Sports Network, but that's what I feel comfortable with right now. I have faith in the Hawks defense, who did decent last week, got stops when they needed to, and I think you take the momentum from last week, Charlie Falk, Jet Harrison. I think the run game will be better this week just because those Will and Sam linebackers never rush for Good Counsel. I think that the run game's going to work a lot better this week. They're obviously going to be doubling Jet. You got guys like Austin Frisbee, Rob Novotny, Elam Tootle, amongst others. I think we're going to see a solid week here from St. Joe's Prep, and they'll pick up the first win.
Thank you, Ryan, for joining the show to go into detail about this Good Counsel squad. Now, let's go to our St. Joe's Prep Sports Spotlight as we talk about the undefeated St. Joe's Prep soccer team this week. JV player and varsity commentator LJ McKnight joins me now. LJ, the Hawks sit number 2 in the PCL table, the only undefeated team remaining in the Catholic League. Could you ask for much more from the Prep right now?
No, you couldn't at all. Best team in the PCL. The only thing you could potentially ask for from the Hawks is more goal scoring. Bunch of 1-0 games, 2-1 games, but besides that, can't ask for much more.
Before we get into how the Catholic League as a whole looks, let's talk about how the Prep has performed in out-of-league matchups, with the Prep holding 2 wins, 2 ties, and no losses thus far outside of the Catholic League. How do you think the Hawks have fared?
I think that they've played really well. Both those ties come against very high-ranked teams, and then both the wins against teams that are ranked a little bit higher than them, so I don't think you could really ask for much more.
Now looking at the Catholic League, the Prep has gotten big wins over Father Judge, Archbishop Ryan, Bonner Prendy, and Devon Prep early in the PCL season, as you know, LJ. With LaSalle losing to Devon earlier this week, the Prep now the only unbeaten team in the Catholic League. What should we know about the Hawks in comparison to the rest of the PCL?
I mean, beating Judge when they were the number 3 team in PA is outstanding, so I think that the Hawks have a chance to make a jump in the PCL, hopefully just winning it all this year.
No doubt. Let's look ahead into the PCL schedule. The Prep facing Archbishop Carroll, or not even the PCL, specifically just Archbishop Carroll, Penn Charter in an out-of-league game, and then Archbishop Wood back into the Catholic League this week. What do you expect to see from the Hawks over these next 3 games?
Against Carroll and Penn Charter, I expect to see a lot of players you don't typically see playing, bunch of backups coming off the bench, playing a lot in those games. And then when you get into Wood, I expect it to be a dogfight. Wood has some very key guys on that team. It's going to be a dogfight against Wood.
With the Prep being undefeated, is it realistic to say they're in the mix for a PCL title? And what will it take for the Hawks to win it all?
Obviously, yes. You beat Judge, play Roman October 2nd. I think that'll be the game that'll decide if we're going to go all the way. And if you're the Hawks, you need to keep up the momentum that you have gained from the games against, like, Judge, all those teams. Just can't let down if you're the Hawks. You're going to go all the way. That can happen.
LJ, thank you for joining the show. We look forward to hearing you on the mic for another Hawk soccer game soon. Folks, make sure to tune in on Monday as the Prep faces Archbishop Carroll. Ryan Sullivan and the freshman, Sam Salamone, will have the call at 3:45 in Radnor. And now we welcome AJ Farrington back on with me as we take a trip to the recruiting corner. AJ, James Franklin was in the building at 17th and Girard yesterday for the second time in 2025 after taking a visit to the Prep this spring. What does that say about how elite this program is and how much talent is being produced from it?
Yeah, absolutely, Anthony. I mean, I think it just first speaks volumes to the quality of the team overall. You know, a couple guys going to Penn State, rather, in the last couple years. We saw middle linebacker Cam Smith going there. He's there now for his freshman season. And Alex Haskell signing in the spring for Penn State as well. I mean, it's the biggest and closest, maybe Maryland being Big Ten, pretty similar distance-wise, but in-state definitely by far the best program. And one of the best programs, number 2 in the AP poll right now, just slightly behind Ohio State. And I think, you know, it speaks volumes really for that connection between the program and the school. And if I'm a Prep football player, I think that's a great thing to know that you have there is James Franklin coming into your school multiple times. I mean, that's got to feel great for the guys there. But I think, like you mentioned, it's one of the best programs in the country, and they're, you know, visiting the school repeatedly. That's great.
No doubt. Let's go to Brandon Lockley here. The linebacker has picked up offers from Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Georgia Tech over the last couple of weeks. The 4-star has gained national attention from Southern schools like those I mentioned, as well as just having taken a visit to Alabama a couple weekends back. How do you think the recruiting process is going for the star junior linebacker?
Well, I think we're going to just talk about him in general as a player first. I mean, incredibly intelligent player. Overall, great tackler. he just sees the plays develop, and that's a really important ability for a player like him to be able to kind of see where plays are going beforehand, and then be able to make that play to, really, really ruin whatever the offense is trying to plan there. Seems the offers are coming quick, and there's a lot of them, and I think we're starting to get into that territory with him, as almost I don't know what the term for him is, but kind of you can play anywhere kind of guy, and I think that really appears to be the reality for him.
No doubt. Another guy who can play anywhere. Jet Harrison is who will wrap the recruiting corner up with. The 5-star has offers including Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. What do you think of this national attention Harrison has received? It's not something you see every day.
Absolutely. He was just given his 5th star, I believe, very recently, correct?
Right before the season.
I mean, last week we've already talked about it, and I'm sure everyone has seen it on Overtime and Max Preps and whatever else, but that was the best individual offensive performance I think I've seen, comparatively speaking, for a player at any level of football with my own eyes. I mean, and it's not like he did that against a pretty good team. He did that against the number 4 team in the country.
Best defense in the nation.
Those are the best defensive backs there are.
Yeah.
And he was doing it on one-on-one coverage. He was doing it on 2-on-1 coverage. I mean, you got to think you can scheme a guy and you could double him, right? You could get your other guys on single coverage, and maybe you have a safety just play man with that corner. And it still didn't work.
Yeah.
I think that's the sign of a true 5-star there, that ability to just completely change a game just on your own, really. So we talked about going anywhere for Brandon Lockley. I mean, Jet Harrison is really anywhere he chooses.
Yeah. And, AJ, let's get into the X's and O's. We heard the X's and O's of Good Counsel from our good friend Ryan Sullivan. But let's go to the Hawks X's and O's here on Chalk Talk. First, Charlie Folk, 3 interceptions last week against St. Francis. What improvement should we expect to see from the star QB today?
Yeah, I think, you did mention the 3 picks.
Awesome.
3 picks coming relatively near each other, all things considered, with the turnovers. Definitely 2 of them. Football is a game of momentum. Every sport's really a game of momentum. I think they were showing – you can't even really blame him for all those interceptions. We saw the one where, they gambled against man coverage, and instead the safety sat right, and he picked off that slant instead. I mean, there's not a ton you can do about that. I mean, that was a pre-snap thing, and that was his decision as soon as he got the football, and sometimes that's going to happen. I think with how good this offensive line was last week, and they continue to go through like that, I think we see a little bit more time from him, even with, Ryan talked about him, I'm sure, Anthony Sweeney on that end. I still think I see Troy having a little bit more time, and I think we definitely see a cut down on those interceptions overall. I think it's a very good look for him moving forward. And you wonder how much, I don't want to call it Jet Harrison ball necessarily, we will see, but definitely in that game against St. Francis, it was kind of, tossing it up to him and letting him get there. And we'll see if that continues or not. That'll be an interesting story to develop.
Absolutely. Let's go next to the Monmouth man, Kai Billups. AJ, how do you think Kai will be able to attack this Falcons defense?
Yeah, the Monmouth man, incredibly talented. Just a great overall player. They can use him a little bit in the passing game as well. I think for him it's going to be really big getting to the perimeter. Some size on this interior defensive line. It might be key for him to get out, you would think, probably the opposite side of Anthony Sweeney. But if he can get out there and get a full head of steam, make a couple guys miss, I think it's just also going to be, I'm sure Ryan also talked about it, but just got to make sure you get those A-gaps with those big guys on the interior. But I say it every week, but it's the open field ability for him really that I see. That's just so impressive. And I think the key for him is just going to be making sure that he can get in those open field situations in the first place.
Yeah, no doubt there. Let's go to the Hawks' weapons. We've talked a lot about Jet Harrison, but Alston Frisbee poised for a breakout game today after putting up 11 catches for 167 yards thus far. How do you think Frisbee will look today?
I mean, yeah, Harrison taking a lot of the attention. Frisbee's been very good this year. He's been very good. He's been working a lot he's working some underneath. He's been getting some deeper shots too as well. And he's making that, they're giving him a lot of one-on-one looks on that outside, and he's really making them pay there. And I think that he's going to continue to make them pay for the rest of the season, really. A very, very talented player. We saw a little bit of that last year, but really starting to come into his own this year. And very impressive from him so far. And I think I see, especially with the national game Jets just had, I think we really see him produce a lot like he has the ability to.
Let's take it to the offensive line, AJ. Charlie Folk not sacked by the number 1 player in the country, Zion Ely, last weekend. A testament to how the line has improved from the first 2 games. Do you think they'll continue to look better today?
Absolutely, Anthony. I think offensive line is a lot about chemistry. And we talked about those moving parts, and as things are starting to settle in, as we're starting to get into more of the season and not as much preseason, I think we're going to see that. We're going to see the offensive line continue to improve. We're also going to see the quality of play go down a little bit more, which is not a thing against any of the teams that the Prep are playing moving forward. It's just when you play Heritage and Francis early on, I think every team in the country is going to be at least slightly worse than them. But it was a fantastic job for them last week. I think you have to give Sean Miley his flowers as one guy that I would highlight with how good of a job he did on Zion Ely. I mean, he was fantastic, and I think the line's going to keep him. I think he's going to have a pretty clean pocket for a lot of the game. You might see a double team on that end, which is going to question your guards a little bit in the middle, but I think they have the answers to that question.
No doubt. Let's go over to the Hawks defense now. What should we look for from the defensive line?
I think this defensive line has game-wrecking potential between the 4 guys up front. And I think we just see what we've seen before. Great against the run for these guys. Sitting on their blocks a little bit and then disengaging at the right time, stopping the run. You don't always need to stop a run for negative yards. If you can stuff a run for 1 yard 3 times, that's a turnover, right? And they do a great job at that. And then in terms of getting after the quarterback, we've seen a lot of pressure on the opposing team's signal caller. And I think that will continue. I really see that continuing to happen with this team. And I think he's not on the defensive line, but John Boggs being back really just changes a lot because his tackling ability, his covering ability, maybe you free up another guy to go in and go after the quarterback, right? Now maybe Brendan Lockley can get in, try and get his hand in the mix and make something happen. Because you can really rely on him to cover a lot in that middle and be a really sure tackler in the middle of that middle third of the field.
And let's talk about John Boggs. That's the next guy I wanted to go to. How about his brain? This is a guy with so many Ivy offers. Talk about what he's going to bring to this defense just from a mental perspective.
Yeah, he brings a lot of leadership. I remember sitting up here this time last week and looking down. He wasn't playing, and he must have been 4 inches from guys' faces. He wasn't yelling at them. He was inspiring them. He was telling them what to do. He was giving them instructions. He was leading well hurt. This guy is a junior, not even a senior. This is a junior, well injured, really trying to rallying his troops and giving a lot of instruction, and that is an invaluable thing to have if you're a defense. And I think he's really important as kind of the quarterback of this defense overall. It's a great player. I talked about his physicals a little bit. In my opinion, probably the surest tackler on this team, though I think that there are fantastic tacklers everywhere on this defense. And the cover ability, the ability to fill in the run, and just call out things. He'll see stuff pre-snap, kind of make those adjustments. I think overall, just across the board on every single part, really facet of the game you could think of, just a huge impact he has on this Prep team. And I think it's going to be a huge help.
No doubt. Finally, AJ, the Hawks defensive backs, Samaj Hill, Messiah, Acree, and company. How about Brandon Ross, a game captain today as well? They're looking for another lockdown day today. What should we be watching from them today?
Yeah, great game from the guys last week. I mean, Samaj and Messiah, both fantastic games. I think, it always comes out with me is the speed for Messiah. He doesn't get beat very often. He's able to get to the ball quickly. And then Samaj's great job tracking the ball in the air. And then you mentioned Brandon Ross as well. Very good game last week. I think the question is going to be with these big receivers, utilized a little bit in the run block. I think it's going to be how far are they going to come down, right? What are you going to look like that? Because if they're having these big guys come off and block for maybe a run to the outside, are they going to step off a little bit? Are they going to pray up at the line? Because you press up the line, you might get grabbed up there. But if you step back, you could open up a couple of those short yard routes. I think they're going to be very solid, though, as they have continued to be so far.
And, AJ, thank you for joining. We'll have you back on in a moment for the final word. But let's go now to today's play-by-play man, Dom Campanaro. He'll have the call in just a few minutes here on WSJP. Dom, a picturesque day for football here on the campus of Penn. How are you feeling?
I'm in a suit. It feels like it's 90 degrees, and it's amazing. Fall's here. It's the greatest season by far. And it's time for St. Joe's Prep to turn the season around.
Dom, 0-3, hungry, very hungry for a win this afternoon. The Hawks, they're going to be playing angry. What do you think it will take for the Prep to win?
You know, obviously a lot of factors coming to the game. Let's see how they use Charlie Polk, obviously. He was the guy last game. You saw him evade a lot of pressure from Zion and Ely. Let's mention it. That one Jet Harrison touchdown, I mean, what would you call that? A post route that are dragged to the far end zone, a corner in a sense. Evades pressure multiple times. O-line collapses and is able to make something out of it. I don't expect it to be similar to that, but I still see Charlie Polk having to make those in-game decisions. He's learning to read defenses better and better, and as you're playing teams that will never probably be to the level of St. Francis, I'm sure it becomes easier and easier. So I expect the quarterback to have a great game. I also expect the ball to be passed around more. I don't expect Jed Harrison to be the guy today. I think we're going to see a lot of Austin Frisbee. I mean, I've said it before, Simon Calabardino, you're going to see those little slant routes from him, little curls. That's the thing. This team's going to want to get to a lead very early to shut down Good Counsel, and obviously they're hungry for victory number one, as you said.
And let's go to Good Counsel. What do you think of the Falcons? What should we expect from them?
So obviously, I feel this team is pretty like, you know, but even in a sense of offense and defense. Just talking about the quarterback here, Rice, you know, Jackson Rice. It looked while the game's going on, or practice, I should say, he looks a bit stiff in a sense. He's floating him out there. I don't know if that's the right move to go with for a lot of his passes, but with the receivers that he has, you know, it may work. You know, I'm not going to deny that. The team is still loaded, as we've said. But, you know, you have to be careful of that. Be careful of how the team plays and all those notes. But Corey Smith, obviously, a great receiver, the junior there. You know, it's just size. Size seems like what this team dominates on. It's basically throw it up in the air when your receivers has got it. And obviously, Corey Smith, that's a beast. Like, or Watson's trying to get me, is the guy for that. You know, on defense, Anthony Sweeney, obviously, he's the guy to talk about. The best player in Maryland, the 2027 class, a 4-star that is. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how the prep stacks up against that. How will the O-line deal with this pressure? And they did well against the defensive ends. We said Zion Ely countered him amazingly well. Obviously, Dave Contreras was dying at some points of the game. But, you know, there's a reason why this O-line is as talented and as strong as it is. They'll be able to adjust as the game goes on.
Dom, before we let you go, I have to ask, what is your score prediction for this afternoon?
I will say this way, again, it could go either way. I think St. Joe's finds the first victory of the game. They're in victory formation as the game commences. Number-wise, I think that 1 to 2 score possession game is probably likely, but as of last year when these two teams faced different circumstances, you know, a lot of penalties against St. Joe's Prep the last game. You know, I'll be honest, they maybe have dealt with a little bit of the same issue. You know, DeMath, the game had a few of those with the PIs and the holdings and all that. But I think that they will dominate on that factor. Defense. They'll be the team to look out for. 2 possession victory for the Hawks. We'll go, you know, I think it's not going to be maybe 30s, but low 30s, 30 to, what do you want to say, 30 to 20, we'll say.
There you go. There is Dom Camp's prediction. Dom, thank you for joining Hawks Kickoff this afternoon. Folks, make sure to tune in at the top of the hour as the Prep faces off against Good Counsel. Dom and Ryan Sullivan will have the call in just a few minutes. And now I'm joined once again, A.J. Farrington here with me for the final word on Hawks Kickoff. A.J., welcome back on.
Yeah, welcome back. It's been a little while. Haven't been on the mic in a long time, so it's good to start up here.
And let's start with the Falcons of Good Counsel as they look to pull off the upset on the road against the Hawks. What are your expectations of the Prep's opponent this afternoon?
I think my expectation is for them to fight really hard. We mentioned earlier about them trying to prove themselves on a sort of national stage. This is a game where you have the ability to do that. I expect the Hawks to give them a game, though.
No doubt there at all. And now to the Prep defense. What are you looking for from the Hawks defense today?
I think what would be interesting, we'll start with this, to see, as we mentioned, the impact of Boggs coming back. I think that's really what I'm looking for most, is how that's going to change what we saw from the last couple weeks for the defense, which was, especially in terms of last week, not bad in the slightest. I think we're going to see how that adjustment goes. I expect him to really fit in seamlessly back into that lineup. But I also expect guys So some guys are going to have a little bit more freedom. We talked about earlier with Lockley's ability to maybe go after the quarterback a little bit here. I expect that to free up a couple other players. Maybe you can drop your safeties in a little further back now. So I think it's going to change a little bit of the way that this defense plays football, for the better, obviously. So I think that'll be the biggest storyline is how different is this defense going to look, or is it going to look the exact same?
Over to the offense now. I want to remind our viewers and listeners here, AJ, the Prep scored more points against St. Francis than any other team had to date heading into that game, putting up 34 on one of the best defenses in the country. They're looking for another huge day today as they hope to defend home field and make a statement by getting their first win of the year. What should we expect to see from them?
Well, I'm hoping to expect a huge game for them offensively. I think this is going to be a tough one, like every game for the Prep is early on in the year. But I'm expecting to see just a huge game overall. I'm expecting a bunch of contributions from all over the field. Rob Novotny working over the middle. Simon Colabardino, it's been a bit of a contributor this year. I'm expecting that. Just overall across the board, I'm expecting a really strong game from this Prep offense.
And AJ, let's go to your keys to victory this afternoon. What will it take for both the Prep and Good Counsel as they both look to come out with a victory today?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with the Prep. I think keeping Anthony Sweeney out of the backfield is going to be a huge key to the game. Maybe you need to bring in a fullback or even have your running back block for him a little bit. Maybe bring in a tight end. I think you're going to need to make sure that he's not in there wrecking games like a player like him has the ability to do. That's going to be your first key. Sticking with the offensive line, I think making sure you're clear, I mentioned this earlier, but clearing those big boys out of the middle, I think is going to be a really big one. Opening up that A-gap, because if the A-gap's open, really everything's open, because then you can start running play. If you run up the middle a couple times, then your linebackers step up, so now you got holes in between them. You can start running some play action. So I think establishing the run early, bouncing off of that, is going to be a big key to the game. The Prep not really able to do it last week, but I'd like to see that happen, and I think it does. I think it will happen. Fingers crossed for this game. And then for Good Counsel, I think you're just going to try and rush Charlie Folk as much as possible on the defensive side of the ball. I think you want to try and make him make decisions fast, and maybe throw a little bit of disguise at him. We saw it work very effectively multiple times, not only in the game last week, but going back to 3 weeks ago and even a month ago at this point. Trying not to just give him one look, show him a lot of different patterns and a lot of different sets. And then offensively, turnover battle is a huge one. The field position battle is a huge one. I think it would definitely be better to take a bunch of small gains and work in maybe that field goal range against a super talented Prep team than try to go for the big shot every single time, because you can't turn the ball over and win a football game. So I think it's going to be just playing smart football and maybe taking what's given to you by this Prep defense.
No doubt. AJ, let's go finally to the score predictions. Let's hear your pick.
Anthony, I've picked the Prep 3 times in a row. I've been wrong 3 times in a row. But I think I'm going to pick the Prep again here. I think I'm going to go 31-21, St. Joe's Prep. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring. I think that's also just the nature of high school football as a whole. But I think it's going to be a high scoring, good performance by the defense. You might think 21 points. You might think, the defense didn't play great. I'm seeing a couple big plays, maybe a broken tackle or two, like we saw on Jets' touchdown against Francis. I mean, that was a 10-yard gain that turned into a huge play. Or I think I've talked myself a little backwards now. I think I'm going to drop down 14 points, and I think I'm going to drop down 28. So I'm going to say a 28-14 win for St. Joe's Prep.
Well, there you go. My pick afternoon, a game that won't be all that close. The Prep is hungry, and I think they get a huge win led by a stellar performance from Charlie Folk and a great day from the defense. Give me the Hawks 31-14 today. Folks, thank you for tuning in this afternoon to the latest edition of Hawks Kickoff. Thank you to analysts Ryan Sullivan, Dom Campanaro, LJ McKnight, and AJ Farrington, as well as our producer, Cole Kuhn. And also thank you to Mr. Burns for his help on the pregame show this afternoon. Video clips are courtesy of Max Preps in Overtime. Dom Campanaro and Ryan Sullivan will have the call in just a few minutes right here on WSJP. Enjoy the game, and as always, go Prep.
The quest for victory continues for the 5th week in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, a fired-up St. Joseph's Prep squad takes on the final Maryland school of the season, Our Lady of Good Counsel, for St. Joseph's Prep's national schedule finale. And what better place to be at than back at the historic Franklin Field, located on the campus of the University of Pennsylvania. Good afternoon, my friends. It's Dominic Campanaro. I'll be your play-by-play commentator for tonight's matchup. With me tonight is who sounds like Chris Collinsworth's long-related cousin, Ryan Sullivan. Ryan, Hawks football, back at it again. How are you feeling about both teams?
Well, now I'm already laughing on the air, Dom, comparing me to a professional broadcaster. I mean, I appreciate it. But anyway, St. Joseph's Prep, it's that time again, baby. First time back since St. Francis. We're going to see how they look. They looked pretty good last week. Obviously, you know, there are a couple of miscues on offense. Hopefully that gets fixed, but the defense was pretty decent for the most part. John Boggs is back. We saw him warming up. I'm so excited for this game, St. Joe's Prep, and I predicted them to get a win here in this game. We'll see how that works out. First game with video as well. I mean, this is a great day.
Monumental moment for WSJP as well as for the whole prep community. And once again, let's notice as well, Ryan, I mentioned it to you while we were coming to the game. St. Joe's Prep, they've received the opening kickoff the past 3 games. Round 4, we're going to get to see the offense on for the first time. It started off.
Yeah, I mean, this offense has looked good for the most part. Hopefully the miscues, the interceptions, and the miscommunication between quarterback and receiver, Charlie Falk and others, are all fixed up. And the St. Joe's Prep back at it again here on offense. We obviously got Messiah Akery back there, one of the best return guys in the PCL, and a new look with Elim Tootle.
And Chase Barr kicks it away to start this game. Recovered by Messiah Akery down the right side of the 20, 25, 30. Almost gets away from tackle, stays on his feet. He's still going to go. On the sideline, push out of bounds. Hawks look to have good field position to start off the game.
What did I just say? Messiah Akery, the best return guy in the PCL as we speak. Able to break those tackles, look like a horse collar, got past everybody. Guys were trying to take him down from behind. They really tried to take him down from the upper chest, and then he was just able to break those tackles, keep his footing, gets past the 50. St. Joe's Prep in great field position.
And right away, we're going to get to see this St. Joe's Prep Hawks offense, as I stated. Charlie Falk, the junior, here, that's the guy to look out for this game, Ryan.
100%. Charlie Falk, obviously a couple interceptions last week, but played really, really good in the back half of the game. Got trip set to start here, and that's also the legendary Mr. Connors back.
Jed Harrison, the motion to the right.
Mr. Connors back on the PA is what I was trying to say.
Absolutely, we love Mr. Connors. Fakes a pass right to Jed Harrison off the start. Stays on his feet, they'll call him down there, and a flag comes in right away.
Well, that's just who you get it to. Jet Harrison motioning in the slot. We saw last week that when he was motioning, he was going to get the football, and he gets the motion, easy little hitch. Charlie Falk finds him easily. Looks like they were playing 7 to 10 yards off of him. Get the first down, but we'll see what the penalty is. It probably is on Good Counsel.
I think it's, yes, I do think it's on Good Counsel. Face mask against Good Counsel. That will move the chains even further. And once again, it's Jed Harrison, again, the guy to look out for. 6 catches, 182 yards, and 4 touchdowns in last week's legacy performance, you could really word it.
And watch, you see Jake Wilson as the H-back here in the backfield. This is when the prep typically runs the football.
Let's see, they'll give it right away. Sukai Billups swallowed up immediately.
Well, through the A-gap there, it looked like St. Joe's Prep was trying to get on the second level there, but they made a mistake of not taking out the guys on the first level, which allows St. Good Counsel to get in the backfield easily and get that wrap up on Kion.
Yeah, senior David Jackson gets in there to stop the run.
The UNC commit, I mentioned how he just stops guys at the line of scrimmage, actually got in the backfield on that play and was able to get it. Actually, no gain, though.
It's like Logan Darsaw. Focal pass, he's scrambling out of the pocket, he'll just dump it off out of bounds.
And I mentioned before the broadcast how they like to send extra guys on the rush, but they don't walk down. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, you're going to have to work on that and blitz pickup, specifically Amin Williams there. Wasn't really able to recognize the guys off the edge for through the A-gap for St. Francis, in that case being Chase Brown. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got to be aware of that.
Once again, if you haven't noticed, Hawks sporting their black jerseys once again. Pretty recurring theme. They want to get the wins with the black jerseys on.
Looks like a great jersey, though.
Gray, Oh, no, I don't think I'm colorblind.
No.
So once again,
Third down.
just short of the red zone, third down here. Hawks obviously looking to get it off to the lead early. Folk snaps it. He's looking right. He throws it down the middle. Is it caught? I
I
couldn't
think it
tell.
hit the grounds.
Incomplete. Intended receiver, Simon Calabardino, the senior.
Let's give credit to St. Joe's Prep. That was a really good job on blitz pickup there from Amin Williams, but doing a great job again is Simon Colabardino, just trying to get the ball off the ground. The ball was a little short from Charlie Folk. I couldn't really tell if he was going to Jake Wilson or Simon there, but almost picked it up off the ground. A bit of an underthrow there by Folk. Got a little too much rainbow on it as well, but that's to be expected to start the game.
Seems like there's confusion on the sidelines right
I think it's
now.
a personnel thing, Dom. About who's snapping the ball.
So it'll be a 40-yard field goal for Blake Shoulder. Obviously, special teams in terms of kicking has been a question all season. This could settle it early on. Snaps good, sets good, kick is up. The kick is good. Splits the uprights. St. Joe's Prep early.
That's what you want to see. I mean, you want to get early points. Obviously, it's not what you wanted within the touchdown, but you get those early points. It's 3-0, and now you see what your defense can do.
Great, and good drive there, very positive. You don't always see that often this season, but St. Joe's Prep obviously took advantage when they could. And, that's probably the furthest field goal of the season right now.
Yeah, I mean, you want positivity to start for St. Joe's Prep. Obviously, in the last couple of games, you didn't really have that sense of positivity. It seemed like teams were scoring on you first. But now, you get those 3 points if you're St. Joe's Prep. Your defense last week looked very good in the back half of the game. You got John Boggs back as your Mike linebacker. Obviously, when he was in the game against American Heritage, their defense looked absolutely incredible. Let's see if that momentum can be carried over into this game.
And there's a helicopter or what? We see some little flyover mid-game. It's going over the field right now.
Oh, man.
Right over our heads.
Yeah, there it is. Looks like Luke Cochran's going to be the one to do the long kickoff here.
It's been, we've seen that a lot often, Ryan. Obviously, it's been Shoulder on the field goals and punts and Cochran on the kickoffs. So Cochran sends it away. That'll be taken into the end zone. That will be a touchback.
Yeah, good job for St. Joe's Prep. You don't
Lots of
necessarily...
whistles.
You don't want to necessarily see a return if you're St. Joe's Prep. You just want to stop them on the 20, get your defense out there ready to roll. Obviously, as I mentioned, John Boggs back for the first time. So let's see what St. Joe's Prep can do here on this very first defensive possession. And it looks like the same starters for St. Joe's Prep. I don't think there's any changes out there.
More helicopters.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on here?
There's another one. Jackson Rice, the quarterback for the Good Counsel Falcons. He snaps it. He's looking right. Being blitzed by Haskell. Forced down. He's going to the right. Just a scramble for a few yards.
Great pressure there from Alex Haskell with the swim move right there. And he was able to get Jackson Rice out of the pocket. And great job from the secondary as well, forcing Rice to run only for a couple yards. And obviously St. Joe's Prep, the linebackers, Brandon Lockley, John Boggs moving out. They're able to make that tackle out of bounds and it only created a 2-yard play.
Jackson Rice, obviously, we'll see how he performs this game. A bit stiff early on. We'll see how that goes from here. Motions to tight end. That'll be a run with the left side. Immediately taken down.
What a nice play there by John Boggs and Brandon Ross. Ross knew the run was coming, didn't even get blocked there from the receiver for Good Counsel, that being Smith. And then also a great job by John Boggs. He read the play beautifully, knew where it was going. That was being the D gap, and he was able to get through that gap easily, unblocked. Obviously, the front four doing their job as well, able to get that easy tackle. And now, what down is it, Dom? It's money down.
Third down money. I believe I heard that correctly. Corey Smith, obviously a very talented receiver. Junior Justin Thomas guarded by Samash Hill. That looks like to be the one-on-one. Maybe not. Jackson Rice looking right. He'll dump it off. Incomplete. Intended for Darian Hammond, senior running back, and now it'll be fourth down.
I was very concerned when Corey Smith was in motion there. John Box doing a great job of picking him up and then leaving everybody else on the outside for Messiah Acree and Mason Talley. Great communication from St. Joe's Prep defense right there to make sure that everybody was covered, even on the motion. You get a 3 and out, and now you get the ball back.
The special teams of St. Joe's has dominated defensively. You know, they're going to look for a blocked punt here. We'll see. Actually held up pretty well, kicks away. And Kyle Allen with a fair catch immediately. Hawks have the ball on the 42-yard line.
I would have liked to see Kyle Allen return that there. I mean, he had some green grass on the right side. I mean, he had a good opportunity, but, you know, you get the offense back on the field. Let's see what they can do.
You know, Kyle Allen was a bit shaken up during the week, but it seems like they've been trying to incorporate him more into the lineup.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know. We haven't really necessarily seen him get in the receiving aspect of the game, but definitely on special teams, especially as a punt returner. He's been really good, hasn't obviously made an error this season, and that's all you really want. If you're not going to get positive yards, as long as you don't make an error.
Folk has 2 receivers to his left. Looks like Calabardino and Austin Frisbee. Snaps it, direct handoff, fakes a handoff. One to look deep there, he's going to scramble, dump it off to Austin Frisbee. It's complete down the sidelines. What a reception there by Austin Frisbee.
Charlie Folk just dodging in and out there in the pocket, and the offensive line letting guys through, but I thought Charlie had green grass in front of him, able to run, but what a drag there from Austin Frisbee, just simply outrunning everybody. I mean, there's not really another way to put it. A great job there from Frisbee, able to outrun everybody. I don't think they knew he was going to run that drag. First down, St. Joe's Prep. You're almost in the red zone.
You know, you talk about the new kid on the block, and it seems to be Austin Frisbee. We saw it in the offseason. Ryan, he's been the guy that it looks like he's built up a lot more. The junior obviously has a lot more to do, a lot more to see. Flag on the play, that looks like it'd be a false start against St. Joe's. False start will be called against Caden Oler, O-lineman.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a bit excited after the big catch there from Austin Frisbee, to be expected.
Charlie Folk pushes Novotny. It looks again and run up the middle. He fixed it. Looking for Jared Harris on the sidelines. Incomplete. No flag.
Yeah, bit of an underthrow there from Charlie. Good defense, though, from Cleary, the defensive back there on Jet Harrison. And I think the Prep were just trying to draw a penalty there, trying to underthrow it to maybe get a penalty call. But a good job from Cleary, not creating any contact on Jet Harrison, just going for the ball, and now it's second down. But I agree with the Prep, though, giving Jet his own side, the strong side of the field, and possibly see if he can make a play.
2 tight ends there. Looks like Jake Wilson and Novotny. Calabardino on the right. Austin Frisbee on Charlie Folk's left.
Watch the run here. Obviously,
Yeah.
Jake Wilson in the backfield.
Yeah, Bill's behind. They'll give it right to Billups. Billups up the middle. Does not gets a little bit, not much. We'll bring up third down and a few.
I would have liked to see a jump cut there to the left from Kion Billups. A good job from the offensive line and Jake Wilson, able to get upfield into the second level. But if Kion would have just made a small jump cut there to the B gap, he possibly could have had some extra yardage. But now Amin in the game, who's been really good on blitz pickup, and you have to expect I keep on saying St. Francis, Good Counsel, to possibly send their linebackers.
Huge third down here. Hawks obviously want to pick up 6 when they can.
Jet not in the game. That's pretty surprising.
I get used to St. Francis.
I
Got my
know,
head
right?
now.
Yeah.
Good Counsel looks like they're playing it back, not man to man. Charlie Falk will snap it. Pass, obviously. He's looking. He'll fire to Novotny. Well behind him. Incomplete.
And once again, there's the pressure from Good Counsel. They sent everybody there. That was Taylor on the rush and hit Charlie Folk. And if you're Charlie, doesn't really have much time. The play's not really able to develop. He was looking for Rob Novotny there on the crossing route. And, you know, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got to find a way to let the play develop. It was obviously a long third down.
Yeah, tough start for the O-line. The 41-yarder here. Some noise. I'm not sure what that was.
Honestly,
That
I
was
thought,
like construction noise or something.
I don't know. I thought Good Counsel jumped first, but I don't know. They might have not jumped off the line. They might not have got before the line before the prep jumped. I think it is. Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. Good Counsel, I think they jumped first, but they didn't get in front of the line. That's the problem.
I mean, regardless, it wasn't. I don't know if it was on the field or what, but I definitely heard something across the field. Push the kick 5 yards back, 46-yarder. Setting new kicking records throughout the game. Lots of motion on the line for Good Counsel. They're looking to block it. Snap's good. Kick is up. It's going left, and it's no good.
Yeah, I mean, that is a long kick for a high school kicker. There's not really much. You can't really blame Blake Scholler for that. Obviously, the offensive line jumping, before the snap, he probably would have had a better opportunity there. But that's a hard kick for Blake Scholler.
I'll be honest, the 40-yarder early in the game looked like it would have been going from 60 how high it was.
I mean, there's not much you can do there.
So back at it again will be this Good Counsel offense. We'll start off at their own 20-yard line.
And let's see what Good Counsel can do here. The prep with some good pressure to start the game, and in the secondary having great communication.
Motions Walsh, Jackson Rice fixed the handoff. Batted away. It looked like it was Mason Talley got a hit in there. Lockley, excuse me.
And Jackson Rice, the guy who typically reads linebackers very, very well, didn't see Brandon Lockley. It looked like he was waiting for Jackson Rice to possibly get out of the pocket, but a good job from Lockley knowing that he was going to throw the ball. Drops back just a little bit, able to get his hand up and make a play. And also a great job from the front four for St. Joe's Prep. Swim moving there. You see Colton Anderson doing a really great job. Almost got to Rice before he got the ball off.
I'm anticipating a run here. Motions Walsh once again. Hand off to Hammond. Hammond, left side, continuing. That bounce at the end may have gotten him a few extra yards. Settle down for 3rd down and roughly 4.
That's a really nice pull from the guard Gamble right there. Sorry. He did a really great job just taking out the first blocker. Looks like he got tripped up from behind, but a really nice block there to just make sure Hampton could get those couple extra yards.
3rd down money here from the sidelines of St. Joe's Prep.
Money down.
Look at this one-on-one of Thomas on Samaj Hill. Rice will snap it. He's getting pressured heavily. He'll dump it off to his tight end, Walsh. Walsh pulsing up the middle. He's got that 1st down easily.
Yeah, and Walsh just coming out. Looks like he faded out just a little bit. The Prep were trying to get the pressure in, and they got it in, but Walsh, obviously nobody was there because of the fact that Daryl and Brandon Lockley were rushing off the edge. Just unfortunate for St. Joe's Prep.
First down of the game for Good Counsel. Lots of noise on the Prep sideline.
And the crowd is very hyped for this one. You love to see it, honestly.
Attendance has always been an issue for the St. Joe's Prep football team, but we'll see here. Direct handoff to Hammond. We'll get, looks like 1.
Yeah, really nice job there by Jason Nitz and Anthony Shuley. Nitz coming off the edge. Really looked like he was unblocked. I don't think they really cared about him there, but he did a really nice job taking the angle and not really over-pursuing in any way, shape, or form. Able to take down from behind. Also Anthony Shuley in there. He got blocked, looked like originally, but they were able to get off the block pretty quickly before he was able to get a takedown.
2nd down now. You're looking for a pass here from Rice. Again, I've said he's been stiff, a little bit nervous, obviously going up against one of the most dominant teams in Pennsylvania.
This is interesting. Anthony Shuley playing a 6-tech right now.
Rice to snap it. Rice looking right. Taken down, Alex Haskell. He's alive.
I don't know what they're going to call. It depends on if his knee was down, but a great job from Haskell just overpowering through the line. And that initial punch was able to back up the Good Counsel offensive line. And a great job there for Alex Haskell. Let's see if they call it a sack. It looks like they're going to say it was incompletion.
I don't know. I don't
know if the knee was down. I think that's the problem, but I think it is going to be called an incompletion.
No, they're moving it back.
Now they're moving it back. Look like I thought the chain guy thought it was an incompletion, but I don't think his opinion seems to matter.
Alex Haskell, a Penn State commit, pressures Rice immediately. As you said, he gets nerves in the pocket. Not much to do when that old line collapses.
Yeah, that initial punch from Alex Haskell was really good. It did a really great job getting out of his stance and then easily able to get the Jackson Rice. A great wrap-up as well from Alex Haskell. Got right down at the hips, and it looked like Rice wasn't originally down, but the referees say he was.
Matthew Parker next to Rice. Rice motions. Snaps the ball, is looking left, he's looking deep. It is incomplete.
Yeah,
No flag.
I don't think Tally or Press, the receiver, really knew where the ball was. I just think Rice had to throw it up because the pressure was incoming, but a great job from Mason Tally. It looked like some of the guys communicated over to him that the ball was coming his way. He made marginal contact, and then he was able to make sure that the ball was incomplete.
Spark punts it away. Fair catch by Kyle Almond.
Yeah, and I don't think Kyle Almond would have had an opportunity there to make a return. What are you going to do if you're Kyle Almond? But now the Prep with another opportunity.
Once again, the Prep have settled only for 3 and 2 drives. Obviously not the start you're expecting for St. Joe's Prep. Wanting to get ahead early.
Yeah, I mean, the Prep, they got that 3-0 lead at the right now. Yeah, the last drive was good, but then obviously you had the penalty, which kind of killed your momentum. So now you got to have a mistake-free drive here for the Hawks.
Back out there once again, this St. Joe's Prep offense. We'll see if Charlie Folk can get someone working here. They'll snap it, direct handoff to Billups. Billups up the middle, tackled on the neck area. Will be a gain of 3.
That was a good job from the offensive line to make sure that that first level was taken out, and then Kion right through that A gap. But a great job from Good Counsel, and I believe that was Taylor who just got off his block really quickly and was able to take down Kion.
Second down now for the Hawks. Ball at the 50-yard line. Jed Harrison to the right of Charlie Folk. Can't see who the other receiver is by the number. Navani on the left-hand side, it looks like. And flags flying in. Be a false start.
On who? Let's see who this
on
was.
St. Joe's. I don't know who jumped, though.
Dave Contreras.
On Contreras.
That's interesting. I mean, the referees, they have to be very picky about this today because I did not see any movement, like, at all.
Feels pretty similar to last year's matchup. Obviously, these two teams have played last year. 21-19 was the final score. St. Joe's Prep wins in Albany, Maryland. And a lot of false starts to that game. Bit of a repetitive theme here run by Billups. Lots of pushing and shoving. He'll get a few after that, actually.
Good job there from Kion Billups to get the yards back. Did a really nice job driving his feet into the ground. And to get the yards back. Good job on this first level from the offensive line. And now we'll see what the Prep can do here on third down.
Jed Harrison, Austin Frisbee, Simon Kleber, Dean Navani, Phillips all out there. You're looking at Jed Harrison, it looks like that. I'd expect him to motion him. Stacked on the right side. Motions Harrison. Expect him. Harrison cuts right. Folk looking right for Harrison. Incomplete. I'm surprised they didn't call a flag there on offensive holding for Harrison.
I think Harrison cleared it in a really nice job, and I think he knew what the route was. And a really nice job, though, from Jet to make sure that pass wasn't intercepted. Played defensive back himself, just getting a hand on it, making sure it was knocked down.
And this will be the first punt of the game for St. Joe's.
And you saw Charlie, he looked at Jet the entire time. I think everybody knew where the ball was going to go. And that's his first read, and that's where he wants to go every single time. He obviously, last week, that same route, that corner route, worked pretty much every single time. So if you're Jet Harrison, you know it's might not work a couple times.
Punt is blocked. Recovered by the Falcons. On the sidelines, be taken out of bounds. Picked up by K.N. Kuba Taylor, the linebacker.
Yeah, I think Cleary doing everything in this game. He made a couple plays there on Jet, gets the block punt. I mean, this wasn't really a guy that you looked at as, somebody that you really needed to talk about coming into the pregame show, but maybe I made a mistake there.
Seems like it's been the greatest strength and the greatest weakness of the St. Joe's Prep team. Special teams just can't work it out. Now we've got Rice back out there. Rice, Obviously, the Falcons looking desperately for points on the board. Motioning Walsh once again. It will be a pass here. Rice will go for tight end, and it's batted away. Brandon Ross.
Almost jumped there by BR. Did a great job running the route for Walsh. It looked like he was trying to bait Rice to throw it to him, and he got that opportunity. But just barely dropped that pass. Could have had a pick six right there.
Yeah, you know, Brandon Ross gets that pass. He has taken that easily to the house. Probably the fastest guy on the St. Joe's Prep team, Ryan.
I would 100% agree with that. BR is just incredible. I'm surprised he's not a track athlete as well.
Looking at this one-on-one right here, Samaj Jones and Justin Thomas will instead go for the run and swallowed up immediately. The stout Prep defensive line delivers.
Jay Nitz, they have not given him any attention off the edge, and that is a problem. He has made 2 of those plays so far. They're not blocking him. He's just going to easily take that, get inside, and make an easy tackle. Doing a great job just getting an easy angle inside and making a play. I'm very surprised that they're not giving him pretty much any attention at all. And Ryan Zat's also in the game for St. Joe's Prep. It looks like Colton Anderson's getting a bit of a rest.
So let's see here. This is prime ball position for this Falcons team. They need a first down here. They have to respond. 3 receivers to his right, or his left, excuse me. Motions Walsh. It'll be a pass here. Rice getting blitzed by Haskell. Dumps it off to Walsh. Got the first down and more. Balls down the 26-yard line.
There was a lot of miscommunication from St. Joe's Prep. I don't think that Samaj Hill or Brandon Ross really knew what to do there once Walsh went in motion. It looked like Brandon Ross was supposed to pick up Walsh, but it seemed like the play was supposed to change, and he was wide open. I thought originally that Rice was going to get taken down in the backfield, and the mistake wouldn't had to be mentioned there, but a great job from Rice to find Walsh easily, and Daryl Jacquez almost had the takedown.
Yeah, Walsh has been the guy for this Falcons offense, using him a lot. Let's see what Rice can do here. Rice, direct handoff to Hammond. Hammond swallowed up. Great defense there.
Lockley didn't really get low there, but it didn't really seem to matter. He just ripped Hammond down with brute force, and a really great job from Brandon Lockley. Just stayed at his position, that being on the strong side, and it seems like he's waiting for Rice to really make a move or wait for one of the running backs to bounce to the outside, in this case Hammond, and he's really doing a great job making a play.
Second down now for this Falcons offense. Obviously, they are in the Preps territory here. Score when you can, they say. Jumped early on the left-hand side. Rice dumps it off to Walsh again. Walsh wide open. Trucks a defender. Flips over another. Gets the first down.
Yeah, and it seems like the flats have been a problem for St. Joe's Prep. Walsh, he has just ran routes that I don't think he normally does. When I watched his film, he ran a lot of fades. He ran a lot of corners. He is just getting in the flats here today, and the Prep, I don't think they've expected it. But a really nice tackle from Daryl Jacquez. Looked like a suplex tackle.
Yeah, went right over as well. Walsh back in motion again. Again, he's been the guy this whole game. Gives it to Hammond. Hammond spins. Gets a few extra yards there.
That's the mistake of not getting low. If you're Brandon Lockley, he didn't get low, and Hammond took advantage of it this time with a nice spin move as Lockley was off balance and able to get a couple extra yards there on that play.
And that looks like it'll be the last play of the first quarter. And it will be. 3-0 the score, St. Joe's Prep's lead. Not comfortable whatsoever, Ryan.
No, I mean, if you're looking at Good Counsel as of now, a really good drive that I think they've taken advantage of St. Joseph's Prep mistakes. You obviously saw Samaj Hill and Brandon Ross really miscommunicate on who was going to take Walsh there, and then he was able to get wide open in the middle of the field. And then obviously some missed tackles, some spin moves that you just saw there. But Daryl Jacquez, a very good first quarter, 5 total tackles from him, played a really nice first quarter, and you're looking to see more out of him. Brandon Lockley, also a pretty good first quarter with himself, making a lot of plays in the backfield. Alex Haskell, obviously, with the sack as well. But if you're St. Joe's Prep, you're kind of making that mistake of miscommunication and just simple mistakes that have kind of been your problem so far. So right now, I think if you're the Prep, you have to communicate a little bit better and then you'll be able to get some more stops. Offensively, for St. Joe's Prep, there's a lot being sent from Good Counsel on the rush. They are sending it at Charlie Folk. You might need a couple more plays that develop quickly. Maybe like a couple crossing routes, or some short crossing routes, like a 5-yard one, or that one hitch play to Jet Harrison on the first play of the game. Maybe you need to see a little bit more of that if you are St. Joe's Prep.
Oh, yeah, on the defensive side for this Good Counsel team, and Ryan Taylor has been your guy now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're looking at Good Counsel right now, and Taylor has obviously been really, really good. He's done a great job getting in the backfield, something that we don't typically see from him. He normally waits at the start of at the line of the scrimmage, and then he makes the tackle there. But for this week, he's decided, why don't I just get in the backfield and make a play? And he's been able to do that so far. And he has a lot of power. His brute force is just absolutely incredible. So let's give him credit where credit is due, just simply powering down that interior offensive line of St. Joe's Prep.
So this Good Counsel offense to start off the second quarter. Great possession here to go for 6 if you can. Obviously, you got to watch out for Walsh for every single drive, it feels like. I'm sure they'll motion him here. Has been a recurring theme, maybe not. Rice snaps it. He's looking right, looking to the end zone. 1-on-1. It is incomplete. Intended receiver there was Corey Smith.
Marginal contact there between Smith and Samaj Hill, and Samaj doing a really nice job just taking down the one hand of Smith while also making Smith have marginal contact with him, so there's no penalty drawn. And then, if you leave him with that opportunity to get a one-handed grab, man, obviously, that's a hard play to make.
Samaj Hill, obviously, the West Virginia commit. It's a great one-on-one for this whole game, Ryan. We'll see how that goes from now on. Third down here. Rice will snap it. He'll go out left. He's still scrambling. He'll just take it out of bounds.
I think that's going to be holding on Good Counsel. They were really bringing down Alex Haskell. They jumped on top of him, and it was holding. It was 100% holding on Good Counsel. If this is against the Prep, I would be very, very surprised. But if I was the Prep, I would assume they'd decline it because it's now 4th down.
Would you think that Good Counsel would go for it regardless,
Well, it depends on whether it's accepted or
they will accept it
or declined. So it is going to be accepted.
I actually think I agree with that, You're going to have your safeties back now, your linebackers. Big play for Jaquez here. Obviously, he's been a great defensive player. But we'll see. Big third down here. Obviously, the ball sent back. We'll see. Can Rice outmaneuver this O-line? Seems to be crumbling throughout this game. He'll hand it off, and here comes right behind him is Haskell. Dump it off to the corner of the end zone. It is.
He was out. He was out. I mean, he was out of bounds. I don't think there was any question of that. But Alex Haskell is doing a great job getting through the line, and he's obviously on the weak side of the field. And I mean, it's just a swim move or a rip through every single time from Alex Haskell. Does a really nice job just trying to get to Rice, and he's forced out of the pocket. Somebody who can throw on the run, that being Rice, but I think he prefers to stay in the pocket and throw the football, something he has not gotten the opportunity to do here today. But a great stop for St. Joe's Prep defense off the block punt.
It just seems like he's uncomfortable, Ryan. I've mentioned that already. Very stiff. Doesn't look like he's.
Well, the Prep are making him be.
We'll see here. Sapp is good. Kick is up. It's blocked.
Beautiful.
Whose hand was that?
It's Haskell, I think. Yeah, it was definitely Haskell. I mean, another great play from Alex Haskell. He is just simply better than this Good Counsel offensive line. The rip-throughs, the power from him has just been so great to the point where they cannot stop him at all. It seems like every play he's in the backfield, whether it just comes through the first punch and he's able to get guys off balance or some type of rip-through. Or swim move. I forgot to mention that as well. Now, the Prep, they don't typically have their guys do swim moves, but he might just be doing it anyway. But now the offense back on the field, and let's see what they can do.
This St. Joseph's Prep defense just saving the game, it feels like. They've been the leaders on and off the field. You saw last week against St. Francis. We'll see Charlie Falk now leading his offense. He's scrambling out right. He'll just take it with his legs. Couple of yards there, just short of the first, and You see Good Counsel's coach getting in there, very aggressive.
Well, the thing is that was really good coverage from Good Counsel, but I don't think they expected Charlie Folk to run on that one. And a great job from Folk. He stepped up in the pocket, went through his progressions really well, then got off on the left side. I'm sorry, the right side, and a great job from St. Joe's Prep offensive line, just making sure the blocks were all covered. And if you're Charlie Folk, you take that and run.
You know, it seems like something that has really been built up this offseason. Charlie Folk's run game, super well developed, but obviously you don't want to use it right away. He's got a great arm. Running game should be the last resort.
And Good Counsel, a team that doesn't ever walk up their linebackers. They're doing it this week, which is very interesting here. And I think they know that. They probably saw it on film, is when they have an H-back back there, they're going to take it and run.
Obviously, the pass here, Folk. He's looking on the right side, looking down for Jet Harrison. It is caught on the right side. What a catch by Jet Harrison.
Well, this time, if you're Cleary, you can't take out Jet Harrison forever. A great release off the side from Jet Harrison, an outside release there. Charlie Folk knew it was an outside release, and then an over-the-shoulder ball, and Cleary just wasn't able to be there to make the play. And that's just great communication from both Jet and Charlie.
Obviously, Jet Harrison has been Charlie's guy the whole season. It feels like 6 touchdowns already. It's Kai Bellops looking to get some yards. A flag flies in.
That's either a horse collar or that's holding on the prep. But I think that might be a horse collar on Good Counsel.
I'm not sure.
Let's see what the penalty is on here. Face mask against Good Counsel. Second of the game, I believe, right?
Yeah, and a Good Counsel, they're not really getting low in their tackles. They're kind of just going on the upper chest and just trying to swing down the ball carrier, and this time being Kai Billups. So if you're Good Counsel, you got to get some better technique on the tackling, which is getting low. And I know, obviously, you got to make an effort for that, but, I mean, this is a tough team in St. Joe's Prep, and they're going to take advantage of your mistakes.
The St. Joe's Prep O-line has done such a great job against Anthony Sweeney, but Taylor obviously has been the one to step up. Folk will be a direct handoff to Billups. Billups up the middle, continuing. He's out in the red zone.
Great job from Jake Namum and Caden Oler able to open up. Or I'm sorry, Sean. I was actually Sean Barth there who opened up that A gap. And what have I said? If they can open up that A gap, Good Counsel, the majority of the time, which they didn't do there, is walk down their linebacker. So if Kion could just get into the second level, they open up the A gap for him, he can easily get that first down on the second level, and that's what happened there.
You know, I'm expecting a pass here, honestly, at Jed Harrison. We'll see what happens.
Cole Berdino in motion.
Folk will look to his left. He's going to dump it off right to Jed Harrison. Wide open. Touchdown, St. Joe's Prep.
Wow, really great play design there from Coach Sugden. Cleary, who unfortunately is injured in the play, was designed to get knocked into the other defenders for Good Counsel, and that's what happened there on that crossing route. You want those guys to run into each other. Unfortunately, it led to an injury there, but the play did work for St. Joe's Prep. Jet Harrison gets open because of the fact that Cleary ran into everybody else. Charlie Folk knew it was there. That was his first read. Touchdown, St. Joe's Prep.
And, you know, we saw the pocket absolutely collapse to Charlie Folk. He's got his number one guy there, Jet Harrison, wide open, just to walk into the end zone.
Yeah, really nice play there from Jet Harrison and Charlie Folk, who, once again, did a great job going through his read. And you'll love to see it if you are St. Joe's Prep.
Back at it once again here on WSGP. Obviously, you don't want to show any injuries here. We're obviously open to great football and something you don't expect in this game, but hopefully he's all right.
And Cleary's done a really nice job on Jet Harrison for the most part. Obviously, on that drive, Jet got the better of him, but on past drives, I think Cleary's done a really nice job on Jet Harrison, and you really hope, you just want to see that great competition. Hopefully he's okay and can get in for the next drive.
interesting change of kickers there, actually. It looks like it'll be Luke Cochran for the field goal. Episode kick is up. The kick is good. 10-0 St. Joe's.
And there you go, St. Joe's Prep with the early 10-0 lead. You love to see it. And the Prep's offense able to pick it up right there. Lots of great communication from Charlie Folk and Jet Harrison. And a great job from the offensive line to set it up with the Kion Billups run. The defense has been lights out so far. And let's see if they can keep this going. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, you can't get too high, and I don't think they're doing that. I think they're, a touchdown is just, okay, it's a touchdown. That's great. Let's keep going.
Yeah, the magical season of Jet Harrison continues. 7 touchdowns.
That's incredible.
Remarkable.
That's incredible. Just in 4 games.
In 4 games, he had 10 in total of all of last season. Obviously, you had Ramir Hardy in there. Just incredible performance by the sophomore. Leading such a well-rounded team on offense is definitely something to work around with in the receiving core. But, obviously he's got it in his name, Ryan, no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Harrison. We obviously have seen Marvin Harrison in the past talk about how great Jet is and how he was, more developed and better than he was at the age when at this age. So, I mean, that's kind of scary when you really think about it. And Jet is proving why he is, in my opinion, the best receiver in his class and probably the best player.
And I'm sure he's grateful he's not playing basketball right now. Kick is taken in at the 2-yard line. That'll be Ellis. Ellis on the left side. He's got a few blockers. He's still going. Still on his feet. Swallowed up immediately. Ball's out.
I think he was down.
Calling him down.
Yeah, that's a shame, but I think he was definitely down right there. And if you're the kickoff group, and the last line of defense did a really nice job making sure that Ellis did not get to the 50, or when he did get to the 50-yard line, they allowed everybody to just get back and make a tackle from behind and almost forced a fumble there, which would have made up for the mistake.
47-yard return there by Kobe Ellis. The senior wideout of this squad. Obviously right behind again, as you said, Corey Smith. It seems like the one-on-one again. I'm saying it's Hamaj Hill and Corey Smith. We'll see. Obviously Jackson Rice very uncomfortable in the pocket. Rice will snap. It'll be a direct handoff. Scrambling around. He's got a lot of room here on the sidelines. Taken out of bounds by Lockley.
I think that Prep expected a run to the strong side of the field there, and you saw everybody kind of put their attention to that, but a great job from the freshman Alston, who was able to make a move there and cut back and get a really nice play, about a 20-yard run.
Yeah, absolutely great design there. And, it worked out perfectly. It really did.
And also give credit to Mason Talley with the chase down there. That could have possibly been a touchdown if he wasn't able to make that play. And Alston's still out there for Good Counsel.
Talking about the leadership of freshman here. Obviously, he's been the guy to look out for. So motioning Walsh again. Again, it's been a theme. Back to Alston. Alston swallowed up, stays on his feet. I'm not sure how he did that, honestly. Just spamming the spin move. Just a few yards.
I think the Prep are trying to, get the tackle a little earlier. They're breaking down a bit too early, and I think that's what Anthony Shuley was so upset about. You saw him slam his hands into the ground, and he broke down just a bit too early on the tackle, which led to him, just going at Alston's knees. But his lower body strength seems to be really, really good, and he's been able to stay on his feet and get a couple extra yards.
Second down now. Rice has it. Rice is looking to pass. He's going to dump it outside. Incomplete. Batted away by Brandon Ross again. That pass should have been an interception there.
Yeah, another pass deflection for BR. And that was an interesting pass there from Rice. I'm not sure if the sun got in his eye or he just didn't read Brandon Ross at all, or maybe he thought the pressure was coming. Something led him to making that pass. He was in double coverage. That was a very, very risky pass for Jackson Rice. He's lucky it was only a pass breakup.
That would have been good for 6 for St. Joe's. Instead, it'll be a third down. Again, you talk about luck there. Rice is probably eternally grateful for that.
Right.
I expect a pass here looking at Johnson on the right side. Getting pressured immediately. Flag on the play, but the sack is recorded.
Lockley there on the sack. Let's see where.
It's
going to be holding. It's going to be holding on Good Counsel. I would assume this would be declined.
Yeah, this will easily be declined. There's no way. I would be shocked if Roken accepts this.
Yeah.
Yep. Fourth down now, Yeah, there's no way are they keeping the offense out here? No way, right? Yeah, they'll bring out the special teams.
Well,
unit.
Lockley, the extra man on the rush there through the A gap, giving Good Counsel a bit of taste of their own medicine, just coming in from the will spot, and really nice job there from Brandon Lockley. Unblocked, and we know the speed of Brandon Lockley. We saw him a lot of clips over in the offseason working on his speed and agility and making sure Rice did not get away there. Really nice play from Brandon Lockley.
Yeah, the O-line just crumbling easily. A bad punt there. Maybe not actually.
Well,
Great
no.
bounce. Keep on going to the 7-yard line. I mean, how we expected.
Yeah, getting lucky there for Good Counsel. The punt didn't seem to be a bit tipped by the punter, and then it just jumps all the way to the 7-yard line. If you're St. Joe's Prep, very unlucky, but you can't have everything go your way 100% of the time, right?
I mean, was that luck or what was that? You know, that just absolutely went into the favor of Good Counsel there, probably off the toe.
Yeah, I mean, that was just tipped. But, you know, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you had a longer drive last go-around. There's no reason why you can't do it again. And Good Counsel's defense, I mean, they were on the field just a few minutes ago. You got to imagine that they're, you know, pretty tired here. There's the sun's out. It's, you know, it's hot out here. So if you're Good Counsel, your defense is maybe getting a little bit tired here. And if you're St. Joe's Prep, you want to take advantage, try and move the ball right now.
Be the fourth drive for the St. Joe's Prep offense. 10 points in 3 drives. Seems like a time for a pass here. Maybe not. They'll hand it off to Billups, it looks like, right up the middle.
And once again, Good Counsel. They don't walk down those linebackers, and a great job from Jake Namum and Sean Barth to make sure that that A-gap was opened up for Kion Billups. And then, obviously, when you're running to the second level, Kion's going to have to do it on his own, but good job from Good Counsel to make the tackle.
So second down here. You need a lot of yards, obviously, looking for a big play. 3 receivers. Frisbee, Novotny to the left. 2 running backs. Or, no, excuse me, you have Wilson on the right. Behind Folk, looks like it's Billups, and obviously Jed Harrison on the right-hand side. Folk was looking for Harrison there. He's going to scramble. He's going to dump it off to Austin Frisbee. That should be a reception. I think that is. Yes, it is. Austin Frisbee. Another reception there.
Charlie Folk showing his ability to throw on the run there, and he's done it a couple times before. One to Austin Frisbee in the first quarter, did it again. And a great job throwing on the run from Charlie Folk, and he's just done a really great job evading pressure. He knows where guys are at all times. And let's give credit to Austin Frisbee there, getting his arms on the ground, bringing that catch in to his chest. A really nice catch from Austin Frisbee. Great communication with Charlie Folk on that play.
Yeah, again, Austin Frisbee stepping up when he needs to, and Jed Harrison obviously is the #1 threat, maybe to society at this rate. But the direct handoff to Billups. Billups spins around and gets a few.
And that was David Jackson there again on the tackle. He has made a great impact for Good Counsel. We talked about it at the end of the first quarter. He kind of just went unblocked there and was able to get the first touch on Kion, and that kind of just didn't help from there.
I mean, Williams in there now. Second down now for the Hawks. Austin Frisbee to Folk's left, 3 receivers to his right. Folk will snap it. He's looking left. He's going to dump it off. Incomplete to Amin Williams, just out of his hands.
I think Amin expected that ball to come in a little bit later. It looked like it was a little early for him, and the ball was a bit behind him on the back shoulder. Just a little bit of miscommunication there from Charlie and Amin.
Looking back at that pass to Frisbee, I mean, could that not have been placed better? You know, he's coming, he's guarded. You got to get it low when you can. And Frisbee, obviously, with great hands there, gets a great reception, obviously, to set up this play. But irregardless, third down here for the Hawks. There's that trip stack you just said on the right side.
I was just about to say it. KB took the words right out of my mouth. Look at that trip stack set.
I think they'll motion Jet. I doubt it.
Especially with Jet in the back of that.
Folk will snap it. Again, looking at the right side. Jed Harrison, incomplete, well behind him. Fourth down.
Yeah, and that once again, the theme on this drive seemed to be miscommunication. It looked like I think Charlie expected Jet to sit on his route, but Jet continued to keep going there on the dig, and just unfortunate for both guys, and that creates a fourth down.
obviously trying to place it where he wants his receiver to be, not where they are. Not what you really want to see there for the Hawks.
I think we all knew the ball was going to go to Jet Harrison right there, and
it seems like it's a theme now.
he was in the back of that stack set. I think everybody understood what was going on.
I mean, who wouldn't want the ball in Jet Harrison's hands?
Oh yeah.
A punt from shoulder, gets it off. A lot of backspin on that. We'll see. Decent bounce. Take it into the 47. It'll be out of bounds or yeah, looks like it's out of bounds there.
Good job by Tally, just driving him out of bounds. Didn't necessarily get the tackle there, but forced him to step out of bounds. And now, Good Counsel, you're on St. Joe's Prep field position. Not the greatest punt from Blake's shoulder, but what are you going to do? Defense got to step up now.
What are you going to do, Ryan?
What are you going to do?
That's a trademarked line officially.
For
Live
me.
on WCP.
That's my trademark line, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
We should file for that. That should be the WSJP motto.
We've had a lot of pretty bad names for stuff. You know, we wanted to name the table Hawk's Nest.
That's not a bad name at all.
Hawk's Nest. You couldn't have been more creative.
Well, what are you going to do? I wasn't the one who named it that. That was the people who named it. I didn't name it that.
Well, maybe we need better followers then. How about that?
Oh, that's
While
mean.
on stream,
That's very mean.
Think of a better idea for the table's name as Rice gets ready to pass it here. Rice looking deep, one-on-one. Corey Smith, it is caught. That looks like it's going to be pass interference on the offense.
Yeah, I think offensively, Smith delivered a bit of a push off. Samaj Hill did everything right. He got his head around. His arms didn't really seem to touch Smith. I think this is going to be offensive pass interference.
Yeah, absolutely there, you know. Wasn't evident enough. You already see the body on the floor there.
Yeah, this is going to be offensive pass interference.
Now 1st and 10 turns into a 1st and a country mile, if I'm correct.
Let's wait for the call.
Correct, yes. Yep. And Corey Smith, obviously such a great receiver there. He's just that one-on-one guy.
Yeah, but that's great coverage there from Samaj Hill, and he did everything right. He was expecting the push to come in. He took that risk, and it ended up paying off. He got his arms out. He got his head around. His whole body was around, and just make Smith force him to push.
So 1st down, a country mile. Delayed handoff there to Austin. Falls out. Recovered by the Hawks. And St. Joe's Prep's defense stands strong once again.
Daryl Jaquez, what a hit from him. And he didn't necessarily get the tackle, but it looked like he punched the ball out. And you could hear the hit from up here. What a hit from Daryl. Also punching the ball out while trying to make the tackle. He has been so great in this game. Him and Haskell, the defensive MVP so far.
Austin, slippery hands there, comes right out. Huge, huge drive there.
Wow.
Just went all backwards, you could see there, Ryan.
100%. I mean, it would look like a good handoff there from Good Counsel, and John Boggs got off his block pretty quickly, was getting ready to make the tackle, and Daryl just comes flying in with a head of steam, knocking the ball out, and a crack that you could hear all the way up here.
And I'm sure CJ got the film of that one. That's what everyone always loves to see. Full motion is first to be to the right. He's going to look to pass. Pocket collapse. He evades pressure. Oh, juke move there to the sidelines. That's going to be a flag, no?
No. I think he was still in bounds.
I don't know about that one.
Rokin's mad about that one,
I'm not sure about that one, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it's ticky-tacky.
You got to call that.
It's ticky-tacky right there. Charlie Folk, he definitely was giving himself up out of bounds. I don't think the official probably didn't see him touch the official out of bounds white. Obviously, Coach Rokin and Coach Sugden not liking that at all, and I understand why, but I also can understand why the officials didn't call that.
And Charlie's a bit shaking up there as well. It's not the play you want to see. I'd say it's a bit of a dirty play there.
Now you got to think St. Joe's Prep are going to say, okay, you want to hit my quarterback, then I might give you a taste of your own medicine. So if you're Good Counsel, they want to.
Yeah, be ready.
You want to set the tone, but you got to be ready to answer as well.
And timeout, obviously. And so we'll be here on WSJP. We'll take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Once again, Dom Campanaro here. Ryan Sullivan apparently or in the comments, handle off right to Phillips. Phillips on the left-hand side. Tackle down there.
And Kion, really good job there through the middle, and I think I gave him a little bit of stuff for not jump cutting on one of those runs the last go around, but he did it there. He jumped cut the second he got through the B gap, and just a great job though from St. Francis, able to make Chiles and Good Counsel able to make the tackle. I'm still in the St. Francis game, Dom. I don't know why.
I honestly have no idea because the jerseys seem very different. But hey,
Right.
who knows? We can pretend this team is St. Francis, but it's really not playing that way. Obviously, again, this is not the best team in Maryland, but I'm sure St. Joe's Prep is sick of Maryland schools. Hand off right away to Phillips. Phillips up the middle. Gets a few yards there.
Good job there from the interior offensive line. Everybody, Namum, Oler, and Sean Barth, able to open up the gap. And Kion, give him credit. He drove his feet in the ground, able to get maybe an extra yard, and those yards matter at the end of the day.
A big third down here for the Hawks. You're looking for, I think you're looking for 6 more than anything, obviously.
100%, and you see Jet here.
Jet
Jet's going to go in motion here. I don't think there's any doubt about it, and we'll see what type of route he runs. Or now it's going to be Frizz.
For now, I still stand by Jet.
That's Frizz going to be in
Jet
motion.
Harrison's show still. Maybe not. Enter just a lot. Michael Albertino.
Oh. That was clear as day on the broadcast right here that the defensive back for Good Counsel, that being Frazier, he grabbed the back of Colberdino's jersey, and that was way after 5 yards. You hear the boos from the St. Joe's Prep crowd. I'm a little surprised they didn't call that one, Dom, especially after everything with Charlie Folk getting hit out of bounds. I thought they were for sure going to call that one, especially with the grab of the jersey in the back.
Starting to feel like last year's game as well now, Ryan. I hate to say it, all these pretty bad no calls or calls against St. Joe's Prep's going at it. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, just saying it. Motioning Billups on the right-hand side. We got like 4 guys on the right. This is unbelievable. The blitz up the middle. Incomplete. Huge foot down stop there by the Falcons.
Yeah, Novotny was not expecting that. I don't think Coach Sugden's very happy with that play right there. I think he's kind of, giving it to Novotny a little bit. Novotny didn't seem to expect it. Charlie just delivered the ball earlier than I think Novotny would have expected it to be. The turnover on downs, though, after the fumble, that's a shame if you're St. Joe's Prep, but there definitely should have been some penalties called that would have led to most likely getting in the end zone.
We're no referees, obviously, and we're just commentators, but
I think we're pretty good commentators.
It's subjective.
That's
it's very subjective.
All right, well, whatever.
You're the best analyst in Pennsylvania. You might not be the best commentator. I don't know. We're waiting to establish that title.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know. Some schools are looking at me, hopefully, for best commentator.
We'll see.
Handoff right away. I think I got another running back in here for the Falcons. It looks like it'll be Jones.
Yeah, great job there from St. Joe's Prep, and they were able to get off their blocks. And Jones, very, very conservative at the line, didn't really know what gap he wanted to jump through, and just jumped through the C gap, it looked like, at the end of the play. But St. Joe's Prep were able to get off their blocks by then and make the tackle.
I mean, if this game was on anyone's back, it has to be the St. Joe's Prep defense. They've been the team. There's a reason why there's a goose egg on the scoreboard for the Falcons. Let's see. Samajio's backing up. Rice snaps it. He's looking to his left. He's going to dump it off. Incomplete. Over the head of Smith.
Jackson Rice, he threw it off his back foot there. And obviously, I don't know. Doesn't really matter who you are. If you're Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Jackson Rice, throwing off your back foot is very, very hard. And try to get it to Corey Smith, just a bit of an underthrow. But the pressure was coming in late for St. Joe's Prep. Good job, though, from the front four to get in on him. And if you're Rice, probably should have just stayed there calm in the pocket and threw normally. But big money down for the Hawks.
Money down indeed. Once again, I'm looking at this 101 here. Samaj Hill obviously has been threatened a lot. We'll see what's going on. Rice is looking left. He'll dump it off immediately. The receiver's nowhere in sight. 4th down.
Yeah.
Huge play there.
Rice just got pressured there. He had to get it away, and he just had to throw it up and see what happens. Nobody was there, though. It looked like I think it was intended for Walsh, but Walsh was not at his spot yet. Great job there from the St. Joe's Prep defensive backs to get everybody off their routes and make sure that nobody was there when Rice threw the ball near the sideline. Another stop on money down, though, for St. Joe's Prep.
Ryan, I'll be honest, I'm looking for a big stop here on the punt, obviously. You know, we haven't heard a lot from this team. They're lining up everybody.
Yeah, nobody.
Bringing the house. Let's see what happens
nobody
here.
in the gun.
Acre really close, nearly blocked, straight up. Kyle Allman will take it out. Get a few yards there. Nearly blocked.
Yeah, Lockley was almost there. Messiah Acre had to run into the blocker for Good Counsel. Almost had that. That would have been really great. But I wanted to see Kyle Allman take a couple punts, but he was able to do it there, and he got a couple yards. Maybe one of these punts will be able to break free and maybe get a couple extra yards. But now if your offense here for St. Joe's Prep, you can't let that last drive get you down. Obviously, you know, it didn't end up how you wanted it to. You got no points out of it, but you also got to think the referees, you know, they gave us some calls that we probably should have gotten. So if you're St. Joe's Prep, I wouldn't get down on that last drive. Obviously. Don't get too down on that last drive.
It's not like it's dictating the score as well. Obviously, St. Joe's with the lead, full handoff right away. Looks like it was Billups up the middle.
Yeah, and if you're Jake Wilson there, who looks a bit shaken up on the play, not really much you can do. It looked like Good Counsel was just sending all those linebackers, and you can only block one guy at a time. The interior offensive line not really opening anything up, though, for Kion, and it led to that 1-yard gain.
Second down, around 9. Let's see. Ball again on the 45-yard line. We'll see what the Hawks can do here. Might be a run here. Fake the run. Once again, is looking left. Gets Jake Wilson. A few yards. He's stumbling. Looks like he was losing his balance, but he gets a first down.
Yeah.
Looks like it, yeah.
And Good Counsel, I mean, they had Long, who was supposed to be on Jake Wilson. They had him take Jet Harrison instead, and St. Joe's Prep said, all right, if you want to double jet, we're just going to get Jake Wilson in the flats, and that's what happened there, and he's going to have to come out now. Great effort, though, from Jake Wilson. Looks like he was a bit shaken up on that play.
He looks like he's exhausted right now.
Well, I think he got a bit shaken up with the knee.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what made him lose his balance. But, yeah, great call there from Coach Sugden saying, okay, if you want to double jet, we're just going to give you our tight end in the flats, and Jake Wilson, really nice play.
Let's see what happens here. Direct handoff to Billups. Billups can't get anything once again. The run game not working out so well, Ryan.
Yeah, everybody got their blocks. Looks like Sean Barth might have been a bit late there, but I think it was Taylor who made a really nice play, and he was just able to get off the block, read that Kion was going to go through the opposite A-gap, and was able to deliver a scissors technique on the other side and make the tackle.
Williams in for Billups. Once again, the guy, you always have the name, Jed Harrison on the left-hand side. Also Frisbee and Simon Clabardino. Again, you know, Simon Clabardino, a name we haven't mentioned in a while. Let's see, Folks looking to throw. He'll get it to Novotny. Novotny still on his feet. Can't get much out of it.
Well, once again, I mean, they looked at Jed again. They didn't necessarily double team on that time, but they pretty much what should have. Novotny really didn't get any attention there in the zone coverage. And once again, the Prep, they're going to say, if you want to double team Jet Harrison, we got other tight ends, we got other pass catchers that are going to be able to catch the ball.
Hawks will take a timeout there, full timeout. Still with the SJP. We'll be right back in a few moments. Welcome back to some first half coverage on WSJP St. Joe's Prep. holding a 10-0 lead over the Good Counsel Falcons. Just under a minute until this halftime. Don't go anywhere, obviously. LJ McKnight and AJ Farrington on here. Hawk Talk at the half.
And look at the double team. There's a clear double team on
Yeah,
Jet. They're not even trying to
need it.
hide it.
Right to Novotny, wide open. Spins a move. He gets free there. He may have scored.
I mean,
set up for the first down. Clock's continuing to run.
I
Maybe
mean, listen, you're not going to cover Jet. You're going to cover Jet Harrison the whole time. Okay, we got Rob Novotny there on the go route or fade or whatever you want to call it there. And Charlie Fulk, I mean, he knew that the double team was in. Good Counsel wasn't even trying to hide it. And then, okay, you got Rob Novotny right there.
This would be a great time for Jet Harrison out route. Obviously, he's
I'll watch
been
Frizz.
incredible about that. Fulk looking right as you said it, Ryan. On cue. Touchdown, Austin Frisbee, first of the season.
Yeah, what a route there from Frizz, and he did a really nice job getting his momentum from going into the slot. Great fire there from Charlie Fulk, an absolute bullet delivered to Austin Frisbee, and a really nice job from Frisbee to get out of his break. You normally see Jet Harrison run a corner route when he goes into the slot, but Austin Frisbee did a really nice job getting low in his break. What wasn't really showing what side he was going to go on. Quickly snaps to the inside. That's the slant. Charlie Fulk fires right to him. Touchdown, St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, it was that routine play there, just throwing on the run. Austin Frisbee, absolute speed demon there. I mentioned him. He's been a guy to look out for this game. First touchdown of the season, first touchdown of this game for him. Kicked by Cochran is good. That's his second. Sugden getting out there, really hyped up for his team. Flag on the field.
And it looks like there was some talk in between the Prep and Good
it looks
Counsel.
like. He's got his hands up.
Yeah, I think Dave Contreras was getting into it with some of the guys on Good Counsel, and you hope that the Prep don't get any penalty for,
probably on the
especially since you're. Well, I hope it's not on the Prep, especially since you're up 17-0 right now. You don't want that stuff to get to your head.
Yeah, I don't think it will. Obviously, there's 27 seconds left. I don't expect Good Counsel to do much.
It looks like it was on Good Counsel. They're talking to Coach Roken.
Interesting. Well, no call yet from the officials.
Well, let's see.
We'll see. Maybe right now. I'm not sure.
No?
Unnecessary reference on St. Joe's. Obviously, being enforced on this kickoff.
Yeah, and that's
Where
something.
they kicking at the 25?
That's something that Coach Roken's going to be talking about in the halftime locker room. I mean, you cannot let that happen if you're St. Joe's Prep. You're up 17-0. Your defense has been lights out. The pressure has been great. The offense has started to pick it up, especially in the second quarter. 2 touchdowns for them. You can't let the talking from Good Counsel just because they're frustrated. You can't let that get to your head. I understand, it's hot out here. You're obviously in heavy pads and all that stuff. The emotions are high, but you can't let that stuff get to you if you're St. Joe's Prep. You're up 17-0. You got to stay cool, calm, and collected.
Cool, calm, and collected. I mean, you could have said the better 3 C words right there, obviously. Cochran is going to have to send this one to Mars, it looks like. We'll see how far this goes. Sends it away. Actually, a very good kick. Won't go out of bounds. Alice is going to take it in. Nearly went out of bounds. Cutting right now. Taken down at the 26-yard line.
Oh. No, I think he was down. I think he was down.
Don't believe so.
That's a really good kick, though, from Luke Cochran. It kicked it right towards the sideline, forced Ellis to catch it because it didn't look like it was going to go out of bounds, saying it would have dropped. And then Logan Lindsay, Dario Jaquez keeping their edge, making sure that Ellis didn't have an angle on the right side. Penalty flag down there.
Yeah, I was about to say, I did see like I saw a flag going.
Let's see who's on.
I'm looking at black in the back potentially, actually.
Yeah, I doubt this would be on the Prep, right? Especially on a kickoff.
I'm not sure, but I thought it would be block.
Yep.
Holding, so yeah, it's expected. It will be against Good Counsel.
I don't think it necessarily matters. There's 20 seconds left, and while you do have all 3 timeouts, I mean, the Prep's defense has just played lights out so far, and they obviously have the momentum coming off the touchdown. I'd be surprised if Good Counsel even really tries to make a play here, but it looks like they are.
They're probably going to run it out. You have to go 85 yards. Surprised St. Joe's Prep isn't playing a bit more back so they can be ready if anything happens. Again, it'll be a handoff right away.
John Boggs.
And John Boxey in there, obviously that Mike guy. He's been out for a bit. He comes back better than ever potentially. We'll see, but obviously a big contributor to this St. Joe's Prep defense. It could have been anything as well, but
Yeah,
time will
that could have
find
been-
out as well.
Yeah, that could have been disastrous, though, for Good Counsel. The handoff looked very extended from Rice, and that could have possibly been a fumble right there, but good thing for Good Counsel that didn't happen, but John Boggs, really nice play as we go to the half.
Yeah, great hit by St. Joe's Prep. 17 points for 24 minutes on multiple drives. It's what you want to see. You want to have a pretty solid foundation to continue with that second half. But Ryan, great to see you for the 24 minutes. We'll see you back in a bit. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Hawk Talk at the half. LJ McKnight and AJ Farrington on in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hawk Talk at the Half. I am AJ Farrington, and I am joined by my other stats guy, LJ McKnight here. We're going to be breaking down this first half of action for the prep. So, LJ, we'll start with you. How have you thought this game's gone so far overall?
I mean, if you're the prep, you cannot complain at all. 17-0 at the first half. Kept Rice to 2 completions in the whole first half. 9 incompletions. Charlie Folk's been pretty decent. 7 completions, 130 yards. Rushing game's okay, but defense really holding down the fort for the prep.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with that. So we'll start then with defense specifically. What did you see out there defensively? What was working, do you think, and what do they need to continue to do in the second half?
So I think what they have to do is keep pressuring Rice. I mean, like I said, he has 2 completions because that D-line's really getting there. Their run game, it's okay. Keep that like it is, and then they were able to force a turnover. So as long as you are able to pressure the quarterback, good things are going to happen if you're the prep.
Yeah, I think I'd tend to agree with that. On the offensive side of the ball, we'll ask the same question. What have you been seeing so far?
Charlie Folk, much better than last week against St. Francis. Much better first half from him. Billups doing all right, 34 yards, 13 carries. And then Harrison with a touchdown. Frisbee with also a touchdown. Just have to keep on getting open if you're the offense, and Charlie Folk just has to keep finding the offense.
Yeah, I think Good Counsel's been sending a lot of pressure towards Charlie's way, trying to make him a little uncomfortable there in the pocket. But I think he's done a very good job, as we've seen him do on numerous occasions, of really, they talk about extending plays, that ability to move out of the pocket a little bit. And you have these talents out on the wides, giving them that time to get open, and then finding them as well, start kind of making really something out of nothing. And I think that's been a big thing that he's been able to do today so far.
I'd agree.
Special teams. What do you think about that?
I mean, the what's it called? Kobe Ellis for OLGC had a nice return for 43 yards. I don't know how that happened. Blocked field goal for both teams, I want to say. So both teams are getting to the kicker. And then Chase Spartan for Our Lady of Good Counsel, averaging about 33 yards a punt, so making it difficult for the Hawks to get good field position.
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw many times in that first half, the corners almost seemed to know where the ball was going at the exact same time the receiver knew.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the corners specifically and why they've been able to have the success that they have?
So I feel like they're able to read the QB like we saw. Charlie Folk almost got red for a pick. Same with Rice. Both almost got red for a pick. The corners are for both teams are pretty solid. Just some unlucky plays, like for Good Counsel, how 2 players ran into each other, which left Frisbee wide open for a touchdown. Really unlucky if you're Our Lady of Good Counsel, but if you're the prep, obviously giving up 0 points. So statistically, it looks really good on the prep's corners.
Yeah, and I think you would have to say some of that has to do with John Boggs and his presence back on the field. Can you get in a little bit more to what he's meant to this prep defense?
Yeah, losing him was huge against St. Francis. If you have him, it might be a completely different game. Same with last week's game. Him being back is a huge addition for the prep, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just kind of really changes the way that your defense really operates as a whole unit. Let's talk about let's go specifically. Let's talk about Austin Frisbee for a little bit here. A huge half, like you mentioned, 55 yards and the touchdown. I want to hear a little bit of your thoughts on that.
I think he's had a monster game so far. Obviously, if you look at the prep, you expect like Harrison. You don't expect Frisbee to be the one that has a huge game. So him being there is huge for the prep.
Yeah, I think it's just that attention right, that's being taken away. He's been a really good job working one-on-one in there on the inside. And then you mentioned that, probably you have to assume it's schemed by Coach Sugden there. The
Yeah.
two players were Good Counsel, bashing straight into each other.
Yeah.
I mean, if it works, it works, right? And that was a great way to get a nice little score there for him. And then along with him, we've seen the tight ends get utilized a little bit here.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
I think that it's very well coached, able to get the tight ends some completions, giving them a lot of room to run, and then them baiting, I guess, some of the Good Counsel corners to leave our wide receivers open and getting some scores there.
Absolutely. So real fast, before we leave you, we're going to hear your keys to the game real fast to keep this lead in the second half.
I think that we just can't let down, can't give up. If you can get the first score if you're the prep, I think you're able to wrap up this game. You can't give up a touchdown on the first drive for Good Counsel. You got to get a stop or lead them to get 3, and then your next possession has to be a score if you're the Hawks. My second key point is the defense just has to keep doing what they're doing. Excellent work from them. If you're the Hawks defensive coordinator, just can't complain about them. My final takeaway is you just have to do the simple things correct. You can't force passes in, you can't fumble, you can't turn over, and you can't let Our Lady of Good Counsel get back into this game. Keep them out of it, get the win, go home, rest, and then be ready for next game.
Exactly. I would talk about finding that balance, right? You can't be too conservative on your play calls. But you have a lead. You need to make sure, first and foremost, to protect that lead. So I think, personally, that's going to be a really important thing, is to make sure that you're balancing it. You can't run a power up the A-gap 4 times in a row. But you also can't air it out down the backyard a bunch of times either. So I think that balance is going to be really important for this prep team. And then defensively, really, like you mentioned, I think it's just continuing to do what they've been doing so far. Very, very sure on the tackling. A great job from the corners overall in coverage. You mentioned that earlier. Their ability to almost be there before the balls arrives, really. We saw that one completion back there for the offensive pass interference against Samash Hill. The only really completion that they made over the top there ended up being a flag anyways. So I think it's just going to be continuing that for St. Joe's Prep and making sure to play their first half football in the second half.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, do not let Good Counsel get back into this game.
Exactly.
Got to just play your own brand of football. Don't let Good Counsel take that away from you. You have to play your style of football.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that. And on that point, I think we'll do we'll cheat a little bit here, and we can do some predictions here after this first half. So, LJ, we'll hear yours first.
I think if we can keep this up, I'm gonna go. Let's go 34-10 prep.
I like that. I think I'm gonna go a little similar. I think I'm gonna say 28-10 for my prediction in the second half. Pretty close to what I said earlier. I think from the pregame I said 28-14. I'm feeling something around that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be all.
Yeah.
And I have been AJ Farrington, and I've been joined by LJ McKnight, and this has been Hawk Talk of the Half.
Don't go anywhere. Less than 6 minutes till the second half starts.
Yep.
Welcome back to historic Franklin Field. St. Joe's Prep currently leads 17-0. Second half action coming in a few moments. Ryan, did you know that the Eagles beat the Packers here?
I did actually, yeah.
I'm
In
sorry.
the 1960s NFL championship, right?
That's why he's Chris Collinsworth. He knows his ball knowledge. I'm just
All
saying.
right, here we go.
All right, then. Here we go. I mean, again, it's just so incredible to be here, the opportunity to be here. Couldn't thank St. Joe's Prep enough for broadcasting, but obviously, again, once again, a shout-out to AJ and LJ for the show. We got the AJ LJ show. It's very
Ooh, that's actually good. That's a good marketing tactic right there.
it's sure. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I give you that one. I give you that
All
one.
right,
but
all right.
anyway, we're here for football. We have refs stretching the sidelines because they probably need it. But let's talk about St. Joe's Prep so far. 17-0. They got the goose egg for gold. It's not golden. Jeez, man. Good counsel. How's the defense responded so well to this offense?
Well, I mean, you're looking at St. Joe's Prep defense at the current moment in time, and I'll say it and I've said it. I said it before and I'll say it again. John Boggs is that answer. He's been the guy to communicate to everybody, make sure everybody's in the right position. Obviously, in the beginning of the game, there were some secondary concerns because of the fact that there was some miscommunication. But then that got figured out. The defense has been locked down for the most part. And then offensively, they've been able to feed off that energy that the defense has been giving him. Charlie Folk only completing 41.18% of his passes, but has made some really crucial passes. Obviously, the 2 touchdowns to Austin Frisbee and Jet Harrison, and then it had some really crucial carries as well to keep the Prep going on their on their drives. Lots of first downs for Charlie Folk, 26 yards rushing in total. And now we're going to see how that momentum can carry over into the second half. And Good Counsel, they were running suicides before this second half started, sorry.
Obviously, and the kick is away by Cochran. Maybe they need the suicides. That would sail all the way to the end zone. Great kick there. So, yeah, again, talk about adversity right now. Jackson Rice, did we say 2 completions? Is that the number we have?
Yeah, 2 completions.
That's not what you want to see for the Good Counsel quarterback.
Yeah, 2 completions and 12 pass attempts for 29 yards. And he's gotten sacked twice as well in this game.
Yeah, when St. Joe's can bring the house, they'll bring it. And, I think Coach Stratz is amazing at that. He just knows how to use that well. But here we go, back at it. Rice looking to erase his goose egg as we start off second half action here at Franklin Field.
Also, Tyjon Hamilton in there for St. Joe's Prep at corner.
Direct handoff. Couple of yards there. That'll be Austin.
Good wrap up there from everybody on St. Joe's Prep. And a really nice job, though, from Alston on the jump cut. But John Boggs, Alex Haskell coming from behind, both making the tackle there, make it second down.
Once again, talk about how the St. Joe's Prep team has really dealt with a lot of trouble the past few weeks. They're 0-3 the first time since 2001. And obviously, not a lot of people expected it with this talented of a roster. On paper, this team might be top 5 in the nation, but so far, they're going to try to respond, see how it goes. Pocket collapses. Taken down there.
It was Haskell and Anthony Shuley.
Anthony Shuley, presidential stamp on that one, the Suco president.
Yeah, and it looked like that they were trying to go to Tyjon Hamilton's side with Justin Thomas on the fly, but a great job from Hamilton cutting that route off, played 7 to 10 yards off, and he didn't really bite on any sort of double move that Thomas was going to give him, and then Jackson Rice knew that the pocket was collapsing, but a great job from Anthony Shuley and Alex Haskell, able to wrap him down, making sure that Jackson Rice didn't get through when he didn't go through his progressions.
Money down already for the Hawks. Let's see if Rice can make something happen here. Rice pocket collapses again. He is tackled. Wow.
Oh, Colton Anderson, Alex Haskell, John Boggs, everybody at the same time. Jackson Rice had no opportunity to even escape because he had three guys, that being Haskell, John Boggs, and Colton Anderson, on him at once, and there was no going anywhere for Jackson Rice. What a play from St. Joe's Prep, and what a money down.
And they all probably got a third of a sack as well on that one. I mean, the amount of force they brought to get Rice was incredible. Slow snap, nearly blocked. It'll dribble out of bounds there around the 30-yard line.
Well, you're lucky if you're Good Counsel that wasn't a safety. You're lucky that even got to the 30-yard line. He didn't give up 2 points there, but a flag. It might be running into the kicker, actually, for St. Joe's Prep.
Would that be a first down or no?
I don't believe so. There's a difference.
It's 4th down forever.
There's a difference
looks like.
between roughing and running into the kicker.
Yeah.
Or punter, I should say.
You know, Ryan, you were talking about at halftime how if you're nervous, like is this like bringing the defense back out there as we're speaking?
Yeah, we're going to have to redo the punt.
You're imagining if this would be American Heritage 2.0, if this would be a similar situation for St. Joe's Prep, but after that drive, I mean.
Well, yeah, when it came to Heritage, the Prep, there was obviously some slippage. You saw that Heritage came out of the game, and they were pretty much ready to go. They felt ready to roll, but on this drive, St. Joe's Prep just reinforced why they've been the more dominant team here today, and 2 big sacks from the defensive line have really proven that.
Another low snap won't get anywhere near the kicker
It's a
there.
lot
We'll
better
see
of
a
a punt.
return from Allman there at the 49-yard line. He'll take it to the left-hand side. Trips a bit. Flags flying in. Another flag.
I'm not sure if this
Is
is.
this a holding?
I don't know. It's either going to be some sort of late hit or holding. I assume it's going to be holding on the Prep. Yeah, it looks like it will be. The
Yeah.
Prep moving back.
But no, I mean, obviously, I've been talking to Coach Rogan after the loss to American Heritage. Again, it's been forgive and forget. As the games go on, you lose, it doesn't matter. We still have bigger games ahead of our schedule. We're still, the ultimate goal, obviously, being the state championship. As long as we satisfy the goals of our team, we're still going to deliver.
Say there's the holding. But no, I mean, obviously these out-of-state games, they matter for your, overall record and your
National attention
your
as well.
national attention as well, and to get highly ranked by some of these websites like a Max Preps or a 24/7 or Rivals or something like that. But at the end of the day, there's always one end goal. That's to win every game you can and to win a state championship, and that's always the end goal at the end of the day for St. Joe's Prep. That is the highest standard in Pennsylvania, especially in the 6A division.
Direct hand off the bell up, so we'll go up the middle for still running, actually. Thought it was taken down there. It's a very good run, actually.
Yeah, very good
Phillips.
run, and give credit to Kion Billups. I mean, he put a lot of effort into that, just driving his feet into the ground, not going down. But also, it was a bit of a lazy tackling there by Good Counsel. They really didn't get low on Kion. They just thought he was just going to go down, and they really didn't get low in the tackle. So if you're Good Counsel, you can't get lazy on these tackles, especially when you're down 17 with this clock running.
Frisbee and Harris on the right-hand side. Once again, back to Bills. Bills bounces around, goes to the right-hand side, still on his feet. Gets the first down.
Yeah, really great job there from Kion Billups, bouncing to the outside. He realized that the C gap wasn't open up, so then he bounces to the outside. He had guys on his back, but just with a full steam of gas in front of him, able to get that first down, and didn't really care who was in front of him. He wanted to power them down anyway.
First down here for St. Joe's Prep. 17 points. Once again, I mean, comfortable in a sense. I guess it would be a bit comfortable, but obviously you want to look to put this away as quick as possible. Vocal snap, he'll fake the handoff. He's looking for Harrison, and it is dropped.
Nah,
That was great defense, actually.
yeah, it looked like a pass break up there from the defensive back Baker. Jet was double teamed, but a really nice job on the dig from Jet, but unfortunately Baker picked them up. I mean, you got one guy defending you on the outside, then you got one defending you if you go inside. So there's not really much of an option for Jet Harrison to, really do anything. You got to pick your poison, and unfortunately for him, it was a really nice play by Baker.
Yeah, and he can only do so much, you know what I mean? It can't be every single receiver. It can't be every single player in this team. But
I mean, Harrison in this game, 3 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown.
can't hate that, can you?
Nope.
Hand off the Bills on the left side. Nice run here down to the middle, right side. Change direction. Still got a voice crack there as well. I mean, what a run there by Billups.
And, yeah, it was a great run by Bills, breaking tackles and making moves on the second level. I love that juke move that he makes on the second level to get by everybody. But let's give credit to Sean Molly. Somebody that's been giving the Prep a problem in this game is Taylor. But Sean Molly did a really great job. It wasn't a legal block in the back. Kion Billups was parallel to Taylor and Sean Molly on that play. And just a really great job from Sean Molly to make sure it wasn't a legal block in the back. And now here's Jet in motion.
Yep, here we go again. You know where it's going to? No, it's not. Back to Frisbee. Incomplete. It's the first time I throw to Jet on motion.
Yeah, Frisbee did a really great job driving everybody off of Jet, but then they realized, oh, that's Jet, so let's get right back on him, and Frisbee was able to get open on the slant. The pass a bit behind Alston. I think Charlie's first read was Jet, but then he saw Frisbee. Oh, he's open. Let me get it.
And you can tell. I'm sure that's what Sugden says.
Yeah, and I mean, Charlie saw Frisbee pretty late, and he probably got a little too excited on that throw.
Just communications from the sidelines here. Let's see. Looking left-hand side, Folk. Just give it to Bellups. Bellups just gets a few there.
Yeah, and I think, after that pass, you just want to try and get those yards back, set up for third down. But once again, Kion Billups driving his feet in the ground and did a really great job there, and has really done it through this drive of letting his offensive line work in front of him. That's something that we've seen from Kion Billups. He's not an unselfish player to the point where he just is going to get on the second and third level and try to make a play of his own. He lets his guys work in front of him and uses those blocks to get around. Even on there, while he only picked up 4 yards, it could have been a negative gain or only 2 yards.
Let's see, Falk looking to pass right to Harrison. It is caught. Touchdown, Hawks.
Gosh, he is unguardable, dude. I mean, he was on the outside. I thought Frisbee was the first read there, and he probably was, but Jet Harrison, just a great break on the inside, got low, snapped out of his break on the inside, and he had the defensive back on his back, that being Frazier, and Charlie Folk, a strike. Jet Harrison does a really nice job bringing it into his chest. Secures it. Touchdown, St. Joe's Prep.
6 touchdowns in the past 2 games. 8 on the season for Jet Harrison.
That's his second of the day.
That is, I mean, really, it is great performance by the receiver. Again, he's got it in his jeans. What more could you ask for? High snap, kick is up, kick is good, splits the uprights.
Yeah, everything seems to be going the right way of St. Joe's Prep. A bit of a high snap. Allman barely got it down, but Cochran does a really nice job staying calm and composed, able to make that PAT. And now 24-0. If this defense can get one more stop, then you got to be you got to think of St. Joe's Prep as
putting it away, honestly.
yeah, trying to put this game away. But obviously, we thought that way against American Heritage, and I don't want to try and bring up the negative points of the season. But if you are St. Joe's Prep, you can't let the highs get too high, because we know what has happened in the past. Even against the Matthew, you were up at halftime, and
it's in their heads. It really is.
No, yeah, I 100% agree. This is like, I think even the coaches know. They're like, okay, we can't have what happened in the past repeat itself. We have to learn from our mistakes, and that's what the Prep, I think, are trying to show out on the field, that they can easily just put this game away, and they're not going to take their foot off the gas.
Absolutely. And look at this change of pace for kickoff as well. We have Blake Shoulder out there. Is that? Looks like Blake Shoulder.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it is Blake Shoulder.
See the orange Nike logo on his shoes.
Some nice cleats out there. Doesn't really look like he has socks on, though.
Yeah, I guess the kickers got their own swag in a sense down the right-hand side, but it's great analysis actually by me. Kick is away, sails into the end zone at the P.
Yep, there you go. You don't want him to return it. A great kick there by Shoulder. And even Cochran in the first half was doing a really great job making sure that Good Counsel don't get a return. I think they've only really had 1 return in this game, and that was obviously on the penalty on the field goal before the end of the half for the Hawks. But yeah, you don't want Good Counsel to get a chance to return. Get your defense back out there, and here we go. See what they can do.
If there's any time you have to score, it's now for Good Counsel. Time is definitely running out for point score-wise. Again, still 0 points on the board. Handoff right away. It's Hammond breaks a tackle. Flag was on the play.
Probably going to be holding. A bit of a late call, though, from the officials.
An absolute turn of events from last year's game, honestly, Ryan. 21-19. It was close the whole way.
Yeah, this one's definitely coming back.
Yeah, you see the official pointing. Yep. It's been a recurring theme so far, Ryan. Am I wrong?
No, yeah, the penalties have obviously been a problem for Good Counsel here today, but I think if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got lucky there. It looked like Brandon Ross and Daryl Jacquez were trying to communicate on who was going to cover the guy in the slot, and you honestly got away with a mistake there if you're St. Joe's Prep. The luck is just fallen in their favor.
First down and 20.
And if you're St. Joe's Prep, you just want to keep burying Good Counsel deep in their zone.
Just be careful for the pass at any time soon. Another handoff again. This defense is unreal for St. Joseph's game.
It looked like the ball was bobbing a little bit there at the line of scrimmage, but a great play from John Boggs, just able to finish the tackle and not letting anything get by that first line of defense. And a great read from John Boggs. His football IQ is just absolutely off the charts. He knows where every play seems to go and what every single gap the run is going to. I mean, I know I've talked a lot about him in this game, but his football IQ has just been so great today.
We haven't seen a deep ball yet to Ellis yet. I'm expecting to see something going in this direction, but, this really could be another run. It will be.
False start.
Flag. Another,
Yep,
that's a
another
false start.
Yeah.
Nothing can go right for Good Counsel the past 2 drives.
And if you're the Prep, you'll take it.
Oh, absolutely. Messiah's checking back in the game. He was sidelined a bit. I don't know what his issue was, but seems like he's obviously okay now. He's back on the field.
Well, I mean, you maybe just want to give Tyjon Hamilton a couple of reps. I mean, it's not like it's not like the backups on St. Joe's Prep are not good or anything like that. I mean,
it's St. Joe's Prep.
exactly. The Prep have guys on this currently sitting on the sidelines right now that could definitely be in the game, and Tyjon Hamilton is just played really, really good on the times he wasn't there. I know there was a majority of runs, but he got some looks on his side. They thought that they could take advantage, but they weren't able to at all.
Run by Hammond, just swallowed up by 3 Prep defenders.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he had something in front of him there, and he got past the first line, a really nice jump cut to the outside, but then he met Brandon Lockley and a couple others,
yeah.
Brandon Ross, and I don't know if you really want to run into those guys on a football field, so really nice tackle from both of them, and this run game just not really seemed to be working here for Good Counsel.
Motorbikes in the distance, a Philadelphia theme, it feels like.
But it's really been, in these run plays, it's really been the second level that has done such a great job. And their football IQ, once again, off the charts. They know where the ball is going every single time.
I'm watching out for Haskell here on the right side. We'll see what happens. Handoff again. Hammond's still going. Best run of the drive, but they're not saying much, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about that run. You're down 24-0, almost 5 minutes to go, and the clock is still moving. I don't know. I don't know why you didn't why you just ran the ball there. You're trying to, win the game, try to possibly make some sort of comeback, and you just ran the ball. Obviously, the run was going to be a bit farther because everybody was playing back, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that call.
I think it was a setup for the punt because they're so far back. The end zone skied. Can't get to the 50-yard line. Taking it to the 45. Fair catch by Kyle Almond.
Well, now if you're St. Joe's Prep, this is the drive where you just try to put the nail in the coffin. I mean, obviously 35 is when the running clock starts, but I think right now if you're even able to get a field goal, this would just put the nail in the coffin. And because Good Counsel, I mean, they ran the ball, I think, every single play that last drive. And if you're able to just score now, it pretty much takes all the confidence away from Good Counsel because it really didn't look like they had much left in the tank on that last drive.
Obviously, again, these games, I'm sure it's built up for LaSalle, obviously. It's definitely on the minds of St. Joe's Prep.
Oh, we can't be overlooking. I mean, we got games ahead. We got Father Judge next week.
Who knows? Father Judge could pull off the upset of the century. Who knows? Charlie Fulk, Amelia Pants batted away. Taylor got in there, looked like, out of hand.
Yeah, Taylor's really making an impact in this game. Rob Novotny was wide open over the middle, but Taylor's been a guy to rush the passer. He dropped in coverage playing Leo on that play. And that's surprising that he dropped in coverage there. And a really nice job to tip the ball.
Got to bring up the name again. Anthony Sweeney. We haven't mentioned his name really at all, but you can see him on the far side. He's a giant.
I think that's credit to Molly and Dave Contreras, though.
Pass outside of Colabardino. Nice reception there. That's all he really needed.
Yeah, really nice comeback route from Simon Colabardino, and they're giving him about 10 yards. They don't really want St. Joe's Prep running deep and putting the nail in the coffin, but the Prep, they said, okay, you're going to play deep. Well, then we're just going to run those type of routes like comebacks and hitches and fades over crossing routes over the middle and just keep this clock moving while we have the football.
And that's on part of Charlie Fulk as well, reading the defense, making sure everything's all right. All right, this might be the Jet Harrison show. Who knows? It's a good one-on-one on the left-hand side.
They're down in 2.
Let's see. trying to get them off sides there.
Here comes the rush, and if you're the Prep, it looks like there could possibly be a run here with Jake Wilson in the backfield, but you have somebody like Rod Novotny on the edge. You could if these guys are going to blitz, you could get Alston Frisbee there on a slant.
I don't know. You know, again, we've seen a play like this against Roman when they blitz the house and just throw it right to Jet. It will be a run, though. I mean, Williams jumping around. Won't get the first down. You got to go for it here, I think.
I think the Prep will go for it. I mean, there's no point in punting the ball. You have 20. It's 24-0. Your defense has been lights out. You want to try to put the nail in the coffin, but I give credit to Amin there. He tried bouncing to the outside a couple times, and nothing really worked because the offensive line didn't open up a gap. But now it's 4th down for St. Joe's Prep, and you see what you can do on this play. But I think there's a switch here on the offensive line. It looks like Steve Landers coming in at right guard.
4th and 1. Obviously, St. Joe's Prep looking to put it away. A 24-point lead. Obviously looking for 3 or 6. There's no possibility of a field goal from this distance. It'll be handled to Amin Williams. He gets the first down. Huge run there.
And that's 1 yard. That's all you needed. Great job from St. Joe's Prep. They realized that the linebackers, the Will and the Sam, they're going to be blitzing through the A gaps. They said, Amin, get through that B gap. And the offensive line, Sean Barth and Jake Namham, great job to open it up.
Logan Darisaw checks into the game now. I haven't mentioned his name a lot as well, but we'll see.
Well, Amin has really played good today, especially on blitz pickup early in the beginning of the game. He was picking up his guys really good, and now he gets that opportunity to get some carries here late in this 3rd quarter.
Motioning Jet Harrison. Folk is looking towards Jet's side, and he gets sacked.
Yeah, nobody was really open there on that play. Charlie, I thought he was going to try and escape and run, but a great job there from Chiles to take down Charlie. And Charlie, I thought he could have possibly lost the ball there. It was a bit loose in his hands, but Charlie, give him credit where credit is due. He held on to the football. And now if you're the Prep with 2:50 remaining, you might just want to try and run the ball here, see what you can get back on this 2nd down, set up for 30. You don't get it, try and keep the ball in the air and keep that clock moving.
That's the first sack of the game for this Good Counsel defense. Try to get a momentum shift. Who knows? Maybe they'll just go for the dagger if they can. You know, St. Joe's, if they can put it away, they will.
Well, you gave Jet the weak side of the field. You got two high safeties here if you are Good Counsel. Obviously, one's going to be focused on Jet Harrison on the weak side, and now you got your corner about 7 yards off, so I don't know about the dagger.
He's looking for Frisbee. Now we'll look for Novotny up the middle.
I like that. If you're St. Joe's Prep, you try and get as many yards back as you can, and look at that. You got all the yards back. It's 3rd down and 10. So now if you're St. Joe's Prep, you have an opportunity to possibly keep the chains moving on 3rd and long, but it keeps the ball in the air as well, and that little hitch to Novotny, who has played pretty decent today, especially on those type of plays. I like the call there from Coach Sugden and St. Joe's Prep.
3rd down now. Once again, they're looking for 6 or 3. They won't settle for a punt.
Watch Jet here.
Absolutely. The motion, as you said, we'll say it's Jet or Frizz maybe, or Novotny. Folk looking deep. Over the head of Calabardino. 4th down.
I think Charlie saw the rush there a bit, and he just tried to go for the dagger there. A bit over the head of Colberdino.
Not a bad read, though,
I think he expected Colberdino to go a little far out, more wide, instead of in on the post route. But nonetheless, I think Charlie might have felt the pressure there. But I also now going forward on 4th down.
This is an interesting call here, actually.
I don't think it's that interesting. Listen, the field goal, this is a long field goal. There's really no point of punting the ball. You might as well go for it. Your defense has been great, too.
Say it's obviously going to be a pass here, or maybe they'll just get a penalty and just punt it. I doubt they'll punt it away.
No. Your defense has been so good today.
You could get a field goal here. Be a 50-yarder you're looking at.
Well, that's very long for a high school kicker. Even a college kicker, that's long.
And the first shoulder field goal was probably good for 50. But here we go. 4th down. Folk. Pass incomplete. Out of the hands of Phillips. That would add a lot of commotion, actually. Jake Namham would get furious.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hit after the play. I mean, I'm frustrated too if I'm Jake Namham. They're hitting you after the play, and they're playing. That was let's not sugarcoat it. That was a dirty play. They hit him after the play, after the whistle was blown. So I would be very upset too if I was Jake Namham. But Charlie didn't have his reads on that play. Just decided to try to dump it to Kion to see if he could possibly make a play with it. Good job though from Good Counsel. Force the incompletion. You get the ball back.
Yeah, you couldn't get much out of that as well. You know, you still had to go 10 yards. It was probably a 5-yard pass from where Charlie was, but great defense there. Now it's time to see what Good Counsel can do. Can they have a momentum shift here? Will St. Joe's end this game? Rice passes the sidelines, caught by Smith, incomplete from the side judge.
It was hard to see from this angle, but they said that Smith wasn't able to make the catch. And good route, though, from Smith. The ball looked a little too far to the sideline on the hitch, and not really much you can do there. If you are Smith, the quarterback's got to deliver the ball right.
Yeah, Smith's going to check out as well. You know, again, just a lot of talent there. He's got the size. Just a tough one-on-one. Was it Samaj Hill it was? Or?
Yeah.
Second down now. Obviously, St. Joe's defense has held them to dominate this whole game. Bobble the snap. I think it'll easily be recovered by Rice, though.
Yeah. I talked about it before the first half ended, Camp, and I've probably mentioned it a couple times that the snaps or the handoffs, they've been very far out from Rice. And, I think everybody just kind of said, okay, whatever, it'll be fixed. But it hasn't been fixed. The handoffs have been very wide out from Rice, and in that case, it almost came back to bite them in a really, really bad way. It could have been a possible turnover right there.
Third down now. Once again,
Money
goose egg
down.
on the board for the Falcons.
Money down.
Third down, money down. Samachel backs up. Rice, it might be a handoff again. No, it won't be. Fix it. Here comes the blitz. Dumps it off. Incomplete. John Quez was there to make sure the deal was done. Fourth down.
Just nothing going right there for Good Counsel. Lockley and Brandon Ross with the hit on Rice. And good job, though, from Rice to get it away. But Barr, I don't think he expected Daryl Jacquez. I think he even heard the footsteps coming in. He drops the football, and Jacquez delivers a big hit. Just nothing going right on that play for Good Counsel.
It may have been better that he dropped it, honestly.
Yeah.
Jacquez obviously bringing a lot of power behind his strikes. Once again, St. Joe's, see if they can get a blocked punt here. Very bad punt, honestly. Very wayward, but
Bounces.
again, the bounce is just saving this Good Counsel special teams.
Yeah.
St. Joe's will have a long way to go.
Well, right now, if you're St. Joe's Prep, you got 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. You're up 24-0. I assume they'll just deliver a handoff up the middle to Kion, and now we got some
talking,
commotion between Ezewuku.
Yeah.
Mason Talley. We know Ezewuku has been a really great on special teams this year. Has been involved on the punt blocking that the Prep has had in the past couple of games. Obviously, picked up some Division I offers as well before he transferred in. And obviously Good Counsel. As I mentioned, it's hot out here. It's the sun is beating down on you. You're in these heavy pads and you're down 24-0 going into the fourth quarter. It's hard. But if you're the Prep, just let them talk. Well, just walk away. There's not, what are you going to say if you're St. Joe's Prep? You're up 24-0. You let the score speak for itself. And now if you're the Hawks, I think the officials may be talking about some warnings or punishments. But nonetheless, on this next play for St. Joe's Prep, I assume, I would agree, maybe just a penalty.
Offsetting penalties.
Yeah, so offsetting penalties.
Yeah.
So, both guys were talking. So that doesn't really matter. But if you're the Prep, I would assume a run to Kion Billups here up the middle. Just get the third quarter over with. Get to the fourth quarter. And
got
you
a
can still
hot mic with the ref.
the hot mic. The referee got hot mic there. There you go. I think you forgot to turn that one off. Got a good laugh out of everybody in the stadium, including us up here in the booth, right?
St. Joe's Prep, again, 24 points. Defense has showed out. The offense obviously looking to have the same thing. False start, I think, there.
Lucky for the penalty if you're the
Jake
Prep.
Wilson, maybe? I don't know. Definitely was on the left side, I believe. Yeah, that would have been bad if they fumbled it. Yeah. Or just probably dropped it. I couldn't hear the number.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the number either. But nonetheless, you're probably lucky that was a false start if you're St. Joe's Prep because of the fact that Charlie dropped the football there. And maybe the snap was a little bit too early for his liking. But now I just get the handoff and the quarter.
The handoff right away. Falls down. That'd be Billups.
Jackson on the tackle.
Elijah Jones and Jack O'Connor on the sidelines. That Prep alumni standing
yeah.
strong.
Yeah, I mean, they won some state championships. Elijah Jones, a big part of that. Jack O'Connor, a big part of that as well. And you'd love to see these guys coming back.
4's up for St. Joe's Prep. 24-0 lead. They'll take a break, and so will we. We'll be right back in just a few moments. And welcome back to some high school football here in Pennsylvania. Ryan, I'll turn it over to you real quick before we get into the snap from the St. Joe's Prep offense. So I've got some games that we're going to offer on here.
Well, yeah, on Tuesday we got a big soccer match against Archbishop Carroll. Your undefeated St. Joe's Prep soccer team. 2 games, one against Archbishop Carroll at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Myself and Sam Salomon on the call. And then you obviously got Wednesday.
What a catch by Jet Harrison!
Yeah, oh, wow. A one-hander.
Whoa.
I mean, some highlights to start the 4th quarter, and wow. But
shut you up.
yeah, definitely. But anyway, on Wednesday, we got soccer once again, out-of-league game against Penn Charter at 4 p.m. at Penn Charter, so make sure you guys tune into those. And then obviously next Friday, St. Joe's Prep football at 7 p.m. against Father Judge. So some big matchups ahead. And then obviously on the 19th, St. Joe's Prep having their open house. So make sure you guys tune in, and then we'll obviously have a WSJP broadcast interviewing some of the, the kids who come to the open house. They ask about if they are interested in broadcasting here and what they think of St. Joe's Prep. So if you're not able to tune into the open house and you want to learn about your future St. Joe's Prep Hawks, make sure you tune into that live stream.
Hand off to Billups, with the left side swab by Anthony Sweeney. It's the first time you heard that name in a while.
Yeah,
4th down.
Yeah, great job there from Sweeney and the rest of the line for Good Counsel. If you're St. Joe's Prep, you just want to keep that clock moving right now. There's only under 11 minutes remaining. Your defense has played lights out so far. Keep the clock moving. If you didn't get that, you get that first down, great. You don't get it, oh well. St. Joe's Prep going to punt the ball here.
Fun fact, this is the second time this season St. Joe's Prep has led into the 4th quarter. Obviously, the first game of the season they led.
Yeah, and obviously that didn't go to
As expected.
yeah, but, I mean, in this game, it looks like the Prep have had full control.
Bad snap there. I'm not sure what Shoulder's doing. He's trying to evade pressure.
Well, I think the punt would have been blocked if he would have tried, so he just tried to take it himself.
I'm surprised he wouldn't try to throw it even to somebody, because it at least would have been an incompletion.
Well, I mean, there's not much you can do there if you're Shoulder. I mean, if you would have threw the ball up at the line of scrimmage, there could have possibly been an interception. So there's just many reasons why you just take it. The punt probably would have been blocked if he would have punted it. So good decision by Shoulder. Obviously, he's not a running back of any sort. His job is to punt the football. So I mean, that's to be expected. Just unfortunate snap there.
Here we go again, putting the team on your back. Dom Schalk mentioned it last week for St. Francis. Let's see if defense can stand through again. Another run on the left-hand side. He's going through. That's Jones again.
And
flag on the play. That's what a producer called Kuhn saying.
Possibly holding.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're definitely discussing something now.
Yeah.
I think it's against St. Joe's Prep, actually.
It might
People
be.
say
Yeah, it's
Acre
thrown
or
in
something.
the thrown in the secondary.
Yeah, we'll see what's issue. face mask
Oh,
on Messiah. Yeah, Acre.
Yeah, that's unfortunate if you're
That's
St. Joe's Prep.
detrimental to the defense.
Yeah, you don't want those penalties late in the game. You just want to play mistake-free football and try and wrap this one up. And you don't want to give Good Counsel any momentum. And it was a good run by Jones, and you just don't want to give him any more momentum. That's a shame.
First and goal now for this Falcons offense. Swings outside of the Jones. Jones can't get anywhere. The defense stands through.
Oh, John Boggs with a boomstick right there. Great job getting to the outside from Boggs. And listen, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't mean to sound repetitive. His football IQ is just off the charts. He has played so great in this game. Just a really nice tackle on the outside. Textbook right there.
Again, I like his one-on-one, Messiah Acre and Corey Smith on the left-hand side. Just interesting to see if Rice will throw the ball. I don't know if he will. He is looking that direction. Right to Corey Smith, incomplete as expected. Acre with the stop.
Seatbelt there from Messiah Acre. Really nice play on Corey Smith. Just stood on him for the entire route. Stayed on his outside shoulder and on his hips, and got his hand down. Didn't necessarily hit the ball, but it blocked Smith's vision, so he wasn't able to make that pass.
Third down now. Once again, goose egg still for this Falcons team.
Money down.
Once again, when the defense was needed to stand out, they did. Allison Smith Jackson to Rice's left. Johnson on his right. Walsh there as well. Let's see what the Falcons can do. Rice fakes the handoff. He's looking. End zone to Walsh. Incomplete. Brandon Ross.
Samaj Hill.
Samaj Hill? Brandon
Third.
Ross, right?
I know it is Brandon Ross. That's
Brandon Ross, the captain. Penalty?
No, an injury. Well, a great play there from BR. Obviously, there's a reason he's a captain this week. And marginal contact. Walsh went up first. And then a great job from BR to separate the hands and then also knock the ball out.
And we'll take a quick break here on WHP. Don't go anywhere. Fourth quarter action. We'll be right back. Welcome back to some fourth quarter action here at Franklin Field. Your Hawks up 24-0. Ryan, you wanted to mention Jackson Rice's performance so far.
Yeah, I mean, not the best. He's obviously been under some pressure, but a 12.50% completion percentage in this game.
Fourth down here, Rice. Pocket collapses. He's going to just dump it off. 101, huge tackle by Messiah Acre. Shuts them down.
And well, it started off with a bad snap. Jackson Rice barely was able to make the catch, and then nobody got open. Great coverage downfield from everybody, making sure that there was no contact, no illegal contact, and then he only had one guy open, but Messiah Acre was there ready to clean it up on the open field tackling. Give credit to Messiah Acre. Not many guys can make that type of open field tackle.
Boggs and Acre delivering the big stops when they needed it. Great performance defensively. It still remains 24-0.
Yeah, but now if you're St. Joe's Prep, the offense has got to try and,
Long drive.
Yeah,
here.
you got to try to have a longer drive. You got to keep getting these first downs, keep running the football, keep the clock moving. If your defense continuously is on the field, they are eventually going to get tired. The offense has done a good job of staying on the field, but just because it's the first quarter and you're up 24-0 doesn't mean you can stop doing that.
The build-up and the stamina of this defense over the past few weeks has been incredible. I'm sure Roken has pushed out their practice. A big run here by Billups up the middle. Move them chains.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier in the broadcast and on the pregame show. These linebackers don't typically walk down for Good Counsel, and if you're the offensive line, the interior line, Sean Molly and Sean Barth on that occasion, if you just open up that gap, Kion can make it work and get to the second level, and that's what he was able to do there.
Hawks again trying to put the stamp on this one. Is it going to be a blitz by the Falcons? You know, they got a lot of guys that look like they want to pounce. Maybe not. Again, Anthony Sweeney lining up. Looks like they're going to double team him, actually. We'll see. Folk will snap it. Sweeney going at it as well. Here's a sack. Folk evades pressure. And it will be recorded as a sack there. That's Anthony Sweeney.
Yeah, Sweeney. We've mentioned him a little bit here at the end of this game, and if a good decision there by Charlie Folk. You just don't want to throw something up and just try and get it away. You want to keep that clock moving. You know, if you just throw it up, a mistake could happen, an interception, you don't want the ball to be incomplete either. So a good job there from Charlie Folk. Just take the sack, count your losses, keep the clock moving.
Second down now. Just under 8 minutes left in regulation. Folk gives it right to Billups. Billups stumbles a bit, stays on his feet. Brings up third down.
Wow, Camp. I mean, you're just going to say, what is that play? Just got a couple yards. That pull from Jake Namum was incredible. Literally, he pulled in 0.5 seconds. That was a great pull from Jake Namum.
That's
wow.
why you're the best analyst in the state of Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Camp.
So here we go. Third down and a little bit for the Hawks. We'll see what Sugden has called here. Obviously, looking for a big play. You need to have a long drive, as we said. Here we go. Right in Novotny, just said incomplete. Now bring up fourth down.
Well, that's what you wanted to do if you're St. Joe's Prep on this drive. You got 2 minutes off the clock. I mean, that's not terrible. You got 6:51 remaining. There's not much time left for Good Counsel. I called it. Rob Novotny was going to get the football there. If I knew it, I think Good Counsel on the field knew it. Great pass breakup, though, to create fourth down.
No more shoulder to punt away. It'll be Cochran, it looks like. So
You want to give everybody a chance.
Oh, no, absolutely. And at this rate, it's 24-0. I mean, it'd be a remarkable comeback if it happens. Cochran gets it off in time. Sky high. The 45 bounces down to the 40. They'll take it. That'll be Ellis. Ellis gets it to about the 50. And that's where the Falcons will pick up on offense. Again, all in the hands of Rice this entire game. He's been the benefactor of anything.
Yeah, and that was a good return there from Ellis. And, obviously you're probably going to have it at your own 40. Now you get it to the 50-yard line. So give him credit where credit is due, though. I think something we have to bring up. Brandon Lockley has to come off for a play because his helmet came off. So Logan Lindsay going to have to come in for him.
Need to score here. You can't end with 0 points. Rice has to make something happen. Rice balls out. I think the Falcons jumped on that one, though.
Yeah.
That was Hammond, it looks like, that recovered a huge recovery there. It looked like Shuley was in there ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what Rice was trying to do there. He saw somebody open in the slot on the slant, but then he just tried to bring it back down because he saw Shuley in his face. Just an interesting decision there from Jackson Rice. He didn't really seem to know what he wanted to do there, and it could have resulted in a disastrous play.
Second down now for this Falcons offense. Once again, they need something. Rice will snap it. He wants to go deep. He'll just dump it off to Hammond. Hammond does not have the blockers. He's on his feet. There comes Shuley to stop him. brings up third down.
Yeah, great job from St. Joe's Prep, and Rice was under a bit of pressure there. He had to get the pass off a little bit late, and then the Prep's first line was able to recognize that being Anthony Shuley. Really nice job there to finish the tackle that Brandon Lockley started, because he was also able to get off his block.
Once again, brings up third down here.
Money down.
This defense, is it tired? What is it? Well, this is the play to really find out. Obviously, just over 5 minutes left, running clock. We'll get to see Sun starting to come back into the game. Rice, pressure, evades to his left, breaks the tackle, still on his feet, taken down. It just collapsed.
I mean, everybody was in on it. Shuley, Colton Anderson, Alex Haskell. It was just everybody making a play there. And a great job. I mean, the pocket collapsed at the exact same time. Everybody getting off their blocks at the same moment, and that forces Jackson Rice to have no time to throw the football.
And we'll bring out Spar to send this punt away.
I mean, this defense has just been incredible today. John Boggs coming back was a big get for St. Joe's Prep.
Bad bounce there for one time. I don't know why he would actually touch that.
Well, it was going forward. It would have given the Prep better field
Who
position.
knows? Maybe it would have went backwards because these bounces have been wild lately.
Well, possibly, but that did take 2 minutes off the clock for Good Counsel, and if you're the Prep, you'll definitely take that. Now, for the offense, maybe take 2 or 3 minutes off the clock yourself, and maybe you can just possibly end the game if the drive goes according to plan.
95 total points scored for the St. Joe's Prep team.
Let's also give credit to Kion Billups today. You know, he hasn't really been the focus of attention. Charlie Folk obviously playing a good game, 2 passing touchdowns, and Jet's obviously been a big focus because of what he did last week. He's had a really good game as well. Frisbee, Novotny, but Kion, the 20 carries, 85 yards. That's an average of 4.25 yards a carry. He's done really well today, getting to the second level, letting the offensive line work, and he's done really great today. Give him credit where credit is due.
Let's see what happens here. Folk will give it right away to Billups.
It looks like Kion tripped a little bit there on Jake Wilson. He had Greengrass in front of him, but once again, just keep that clock moving. No need to get down on yourself because you could have had extra yards.
Second down now. We'll see what is in play. And obviously, you just want to get into victory formation as fast as possible. And now under 4 minutes. Let's see what is up their sleeve tonight, obviously. 24-0. Obviously, this offense has produced a lot this entire game. Helping the defense as well. Billups up the middle for a few more yards. I'll bring up third down in about 2.
Once again, Kion just driving his feet into the ground. I mean, that is what he does. He has played so good in this game, just getting those extra tough yards, and has really become a gritty back here today. He's played really well. And timeout.
Yeah, timeout on the field, and so will we. Just over 3 minutes left. We'll take a short break. Fourth quarter action, end of the fourth quarter, and probably end of the game coming up. Fourth quarter action, back at it here at Franklin Field. Third down here for the Hawks, obviously just looking to have a long drive.
Look at the rush. coming in.
We'll see. They'll go right up the middle. Billups, he'll get the first down and more. Huge run there.
Wow, great play from Jake Namum and then Caden Oler to get upfield to make sure nobody was there at the first down marker and let Kion get through. And now that has officially brought Kion to 100 yards on the day, 4.35 yards per carry. And now the Prep, you can just get ready to think about ending this one. What are they doing?
I have no idea what they're doing right now, actually. They're all frozen. What?
Maybe they're getting ready to... That was interesting.
This might
That
be a
was an
touchdown
interesting-
drive, I'll be honest. Who knows?
That was an interesting formation.
Maybe not. Williams going.
Yeah.
I'm still just shocked.
Yeah, I don't
what
know what
just
that was.
happened.
Amin Williams, though, great jump cut from the B to the A gap and able to get a couple extra yards there, about 6. It was an interesting formation there. I think they were just trying to catch Good Counsel off guard. But, I mean, I'm not going to criticize it if it worked, right?
So, yeah, again, got the producer Cole Kuhn here, obviously noticing everything. Just practicing the cold cut, right?
I don't know.
But, nah, I absolutely butchered that. I apologize. Now, you know what I mean? Just trying to get to the snap as quick as possible.
They're going to do it again. I mean, listen, I'm not
Let's
going to
do it again,
criticize
yeah.
it. I'm not going to criticize if it's working. I find this to be pretty fun.
And it makes me look like I'm dumb as well. Let's see. Another run up the left-hand side.
Ooh.
I mean, Williams refuses to go down.
Yeah, Amin, look at that. I mean, he's giving a little Kion Billups in him with the gritty ability to get those extra yards and pick up a first down. And 2 more plays, that'll probably end this game. St. Joe's Prep going to pull out a victory.
Just over a minute left.
And we're going to do it again.
Yeah, it looks like
I
we're
like
gonna-
the. I mean, I'm a fan of this. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'll just let the time just dwindle on down. All they really have to do is just end it now. Not something you've heard all this season. 24 points. Same situation again. It'll be a direct handoff to Billups, actually. Billups, a lot of juke there.
The jump cuts are insane from Kion. What an incredible run.
Victory formation from the sideline. We'll see. Hasn't been done all season yet.
Kion with about 20, almost 20 yards on this drive, and that'll do it.
The time will run down. And that should do it. We'll watch the clock go down as you do. 10 seconds left. 24 total points for the St. Joe's Prep team. Incredible performance. And officially that will do it. St. Joe's Prep, their first win of the season comes against Good Counsel at Franklin Field. 24-0 defensive overload and incredible performance. Ryan, what a game it was.
An incredible game from St. Joe's Prep. The defense, you get John Boggs back. He made everything right. Everybody was in position. Everybody knew what they were doing. Great communication from everybody on the field. Offensively, a great day as well. You put 24 points up on a defense that has a lot of talent. Jet Harrison, a great day. Alston Frisbee, Rob Novotny over the middle. Charlie Folk, some strikes delivered to his number 1 and number 2 targets. Kion Billups, obviously more towards the back half of the game, making sure that the Prep got the yards that they needed to, and were able to put this game away. So even the special teams was really, really good. A block field goal in this game. A great punt return to start from Messiah Acree to set the tone. Just great all around in all three phases of the game for St. Joe's Prep. That's the reason they got the 24-point victory. And guess what else? They're the number 1 team in the state of Pennsylvania. No doubt about it. A shutout against the 4th best team in Maryland. What other team in Pennsylvania is doing that, Dom?
And that's something, again, building up that resume, ready for LaSalle. Obviously, we'll be here in 2 weeks, if I'm correct, right? Against LaSalle here
Yeah, we
in 2
will be in
weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
Obviously, WCP will be there. But once again, as we close out our main stream, getting ready for the post-game 5th quarter, I was Dom Campanaro, that's Ryan Sullivan, Cole Kuhn, the producer, Mike Torres on camo, Michael Desher on play tracker, AJ Farrington, LJ McKnight on stats, Anthony Sorgi, Anthony Correa, Sam Salamoon, all on social media. But don't go anywhere. 5th quarter with Cole Kuhn and LJ McKnight coming up next. I was Dom Campanaro. That's Ryan Sullivan. We're signing out. Have a good one.
Go.
Welcome to the St. Joe's Prep Hawks post-game show. I'm joined here by Dom Campanaro. Dom, what do you think went well for the Hawks, and why do you think we were able to win this game?
Well, first of all, I'm not Cole Coon, but second of all, obviously, it was an incredible performance defensively, you know. Talk about your standout guy. It's John Box, absolutely bulldozing everybody, you know. A huge factor in every single game in this one, he really showed it. Alex Haskell, Penn State commit, sacks, everything you could expect. And the Shuley, another sack. His whole defense did everything they needed to do correctly for 4 quarters and performed it perfectly. Obviously, it was basically a perfect game by this defense.
I agree with that. What do you think the offense did very well in this game? Obviously, Harrison had 2 touchdowns, Charlie Folk 0 turnovers, Kyan Billups did really well on the ground today. What do you think went very well for them?
Well, it was the first game in, I believe, 3 games that we saw Kai Billups reach triple digits in his rushing total, and that's exactly what you wanted to see. An incredible performance in the ground game. Obviously, Charlie Folk did incredible evading pressure. O-line collapses. He has an IQ to get out of there, and it really shined at the toughest moments, and really absolute great performance by Charlie Folk and his offense, leading them to a 24-point victory.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hop on to the defense. Daryl Jaquez had 9 tackles for the Prep, forced a fumble. What do you think went well for him that usually he's not the biggest standout on defense, obviously, but today he's my defensive player of the game?
You know, obviously showing his presence on the field was a huge factor into the game, and obviously the tackles he had made, they weren't like routine tackles, they were huge tackles. He doesn't get that guy, he probably gets a touchdown 4 times out of the game, but obviously just shutting down the run game was a huge factor. Jaquez obviously brings the power, brings the talent, and that's what's resulted in him being an incredible player in this game.
Let's hop back onto the offense side of the ball. Ashton Frisbee, 3 catches, 55 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 18 yards per reception. What went well for him today?
Yeah, Austin Frisbee, you know, a guy that I mentioned at the pregame show, I expected him to have a good game. You know, it was set up for him. Jed Harrison obviously was shining in the game as well, but Austin Frisbee, they want to get other guys involved, obviously. Jed Harrison had a legacy performance last week. This week they wanted to spread it out a lot more. Obviously, got to see those passes to Austin Frisbee, lots of slants there. But he was just getting those receptions. You're going to talk about his touchdown pass, a low pass, receives it, drives right into the end zone for his first score of the season. And obviously, you know, huge factor into this game, and I would say into the season as well.
Yeah, I agree. Going to his touchdown, I believe 2 defenders collided into each other, left him wide open, little bit underthrew, but he's able to get there. Let's talk about Charlie Folk. 25 attempts, 10 completions, threw for 40%, 172 passing yards, 17.2 yards per completion, 2 carries for 26 yards, and he had 3 passing touchdowns. What went well for him? Obviously his percentage isn't the best, but they get the shutout victory. He gets 24 on the board for the Hawks, and then his 3 passing touchdowns.
All you needed for him to be is a leader, and that's all he really showed, obviously. He's got the weapons he needs. He just has to spread it around. That's why the 172 might not be as high as you expect. Jed Harrison last week was the reason why the number was so high for him as well. You know, you have as I said, we had 3 running backs in the game with Darius Solomon, Williams, and Kai Billups. Kai Billups obviously reaching 100+ yards. That's why your numbers are a bit lower in that sense. But obviously, the drives of this offense really affected the total score of the game and really resulted in Folk performing how he did. Not in a bad way, but he still guided his team to victory.
Yeah, I agree there. What went different from last week's game to this week's game? Obviously, number 4 team last week against, now we played the number 4 team in Maryland. What went different? Like, how was it the coaching? Was it the players? What do you think went different for the Hawks?
We'll talk about Charlie Folk on his passes. A lot more confidence for most of his passes. Obviously, this week, 3 interceptions. That was his high in the season, obviously. But he performed very well, obviously. He worked with how he needed to use his offense. Sugden obviously had the right play calls 9 times out of 10. But overall, performed very well. He had his weapons, all he needed. And again, versus last week, obviously, you're going up against probably the best defense in high school football. Still put up 26 points, which is very remarkable in that matter. But obviously this week, you're playing a team that isn't as incredibly talented as St. Francis, but still has some of that level of confidence. But yeah, overall, an incredible performance, both sides of the ball, and a great response. First win of the season. Very important on that note.
Let's hop into the PCL. Next week, the Hawks take on Father Judge Crusaders at Ramp. What do the Hawks have to do to get the win against Father Judge?
Well, once again, now you're facing the PCL schedule. It's every game now is this team will know about you better than any other team that you've played. So you just have to show them what you got. You show some new play calls. You really want to test it out on those teams before you really test it out on LaSalle, because if Father Judge looks really foolish on defense, maybe LaSalle will fall as well. But it really is that transition. Again, how they perform next week affect how they play against LaSalle, potentially. But I'm sure that they will have a different play call style for next week, because I'm sure they expect domination against Judge.
Yeah, I agree. And then, obviously, I think 1 or 2 more questions maybe. What do the Hawks have to do in 2 weeks versus the Explorers here at Penn Park?
Well, here Franklin Field, you have to dominate on any facet of the game. This defense was a reason why they won 24-0, in my opinion. When they needed them most, they stuck out. As I said, there wasn't a single player on defense that didn't do their job. When you needed them, they delivered. They delivered on all facets they had. To the run game, they shut down Rice. And obviously, you're going to play against Gav Sidwar and Joey O'Brien and Owen Johnson. You're already loaded on that matter. You have to figure out how to use these guys well. Obviously, you had a counter Anthony Sweeney on the rush. Obviously, he had a sack, but still, you really countered that well on defense, and I'm sure that you're able to be able to tackle that as well when you face LaSalle. Again, it's just that idea of you're a division guy, you have the experience of them, so I'm sure they'll be completely fine against LaSalle.
Final question for you, Dom. What do the Hawks have to do to win the PCL for the 4th straight year?
Well, once again, obviously, it starts with being LaSalle. Second of all, talks about domination. You got to understand, this team is designed to be dominant. It's exactly why they're playing some of the best teams in the nation on the first front. So, obviously, you're continuing to dominate. You're continuing to show yourself, show that attention, and just drive. You have that drive. You play game by game. Trust and love will win it at the end of the day.
That will be all for the post-game show. I was joined by Dom Kwalik. Hawks get the 24-0 victory. Next week against Judge will be the next football game PCL-wise. And thank you all for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Go Hawks.